Welcome back to the Box2Box podcast.
This is episode 62 and the Club World Cup has just begun. Is it a success or a failure?
And we got some news in the transfer market. Where does Gyökeres go? And does Nico Williams go to Barcelona?
And Mili is back, so we need to discuss Inter's downfall.
All that and more on the Box2Box podcast.
Let's go.
You ain't going home,
Your
bro.
Honor, I'm sorry. Your Honor, I'm sorry.
Ours are on the pitch and Bangula starts our next and Bangula,
She's Egyptian. Game tomorrow, would you rather Saliba or Mbappe?
Right, Saliba right now.
No, you wouldn't.
Saliba right now.
You're sacrificing
That face when you lie. That's
Saliba right now.
First of all, apologies to everyone for the delayed podcast. It's been a pretty eventful week.
Yeah.
Box2Box boys.
The weekend was packed.
Yeah.
We were in New York City.
New York.
And Mili had just gotten back from Italy. We said, nah, here's another one for you.
Here's another
trip.
Yeah, so then we completed Montreal to New York's like 6-hour drive. So we did that. And then, New York is New York. I love New York personally.
Great analysis.
Very.
New York is New York.
But if you've been to New York, you understand what I mean.
City that never sleeps.
What you talking about?
Explain it to the people that have never been.
Explain it in football terms.
So you could go down one street and you have a motherfucker telling you, you gotta try Joey DiNapoli's on East 43rd Street. Good family style place. And then the next street, you'll have like a homeless guy telling you how to take a train to Staten Island.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
exactly.
So like,
You're gonna take the South Ferry. It runs anytime. You can go right now.
It was a very eventful, and you know what? All that happened within like 2 blocks of where we were staying.
Yep.
Like this happens as soon as we
Well,
get
the other one was literally outside.
outside.
I was just sitting on a bench with a homeless guy talking to him.
These guys are just characters. It's like however New York is portrayed in a movie, I feel like that's how it actually is.
Yeah.
There's so like you said, character, but like you can't even explain how much it exudes aura, like the infrastructure, everything, the streets. That city was built to be big. Like it was built to like have that level of pull. Like the streets are like every one ways are three lanes.
Yeah.
And they're massive sidewalks. I love New York. There's so much stuff to see. You can just be walking and you're like, oh shit, that's Madison Square Garden.
And it was like coming from Montreal. Obviously, we don't really have the tallest buildings in the world. So,
Oh, it puts them to shame.
like this is like it takes a minute to realize how tall these buildings are.
As soon as we pulled up, windows down, sunroof open, trying to see the views.
there is an incredible amount of wealth. This is just a crazy coincidence because yesterday I got back and I saw an Instagram post.
I saw that
New
too.
York. New study says that 1 out of every 22 New York residents are millionaires.
And I believe that.
Really?
That makes a lot of sense. Because the wealth disparity over there is
Yeah,
crazy.
and the other 21 are below the poverty line.
Yeah, like way below the poverty line.
Well,
There's a
honestly,
huge gap for sure.
They have this may not make sense to you if you've never been to New York, but they have the best homeless people.
Yeah.
Like
Man, what an event!
That's
Like
crazy to say.
No, they do.
They do.
Bro, they're we didn't see any fentfuls. We didn't see one person like out of it. The homeless people, they're up, they're moving,
conscious.
they're talking, they're telling stories. They all have an NPC story. They're all recounting you something. One guy, Happy Father's Day. Did you say Happy Father's Day today? Like bro, in Montreal, they're just coming at you, running at you, asking for, I don't know, cigarettes or something. Like they have character.
They got places to be in New York.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
It's
Always
so
on the
cool.
move.
I think
cool.
each one of us have like an encounter from this weekend that was just like a story that you will tell.
Yeah,
it was pretty fun. But I think we had a good time. Like obviously, the content we recorded there, you guys are going to be seeing it
coming weeks.
in the coming weeks, I would say. But we had a blast. Whole crew was there. So now we're back in the studio. First time in a minute. Well, I mean, you guys were here last week.
This guy,
first time for me.
This guy actually left the whole fucking country to get away from his team.
I wasn't
Disintegrating right in front of us in our eyes.
had a little vacation planned, and then everything went the wrong way as soon as you left.
Obviously, I wasn't planning it.
That's what they all say.
I wasn't expecting a 5-0 loss. But I mean, listen, you guys had my initial thoughts. We did a podcast.
You
right
still
after the
predicted
event.
a loss.
I still predicted
Puck
a loss.
mentality, by the way. Holy fuck!
Wow.
This is why. This is
Realist.
why.
I said we were gonna lose,
This
and
is
then we
why I
lose.
said this
Wow.
on the last podcast. I can't associate with this fan base.
Yeah, I can't. I'm a free agent.
Because
I'm a free
because picking their team to lose in a Champions League final is unfathomable to me.
But then if I
Varvar FC is for fucking winners, not this cuck fan
Winners.
base.
Winners. Manchester
15th
United,
place.
the Europa League winners 2025.
Yeah.
But I don't give a fuck who I'm going up against. My team is. I'm picking my team. To
Yeah,
win.
but I mean, we run a football podcast, you know, so I try to be a bit more in depth and like
Unbiased.
real and unbiased.
Have you
So,
listened to our podcast before?
Welcome to the Box2Box show. Yeah, it was not. I was definitely not expecting
If
5-0.
in 2025 you are still part of Mili FC, what are you doing with your life?
you gotta rethink it.
Yeah, because right now, like the only team that's really bumping here is Varvar FC. If I'm not,
Bumping. What are you doing?
What are you bumping?
Yeah.
Did you guys not see the Club World Cup draft video? We already won that one.
Yeah,
So that one's already in the bag. We already
When's
put
Manchester
that one-
United playing in the Club World Cup?
That one's
By
already.
YouTube videos?
Yes, bro. We already
You're talking
put
about Man United.
We already put that one in the bag. Man United, we're signing Cunha and Pounds.
Name drop.
And Embuemo rejected Man United.
And we're signing-
And we're signing Embuemo.
And that,
We're signing Embuemo.
We're signing Cunha. We got Cunha.
We got motherfucking Cunha. Welcome to New
who's our
York.
third keeper? We just re-signed him.
Tom Heaton.
Add it to the list.
So,
that's the
so
list,
guys,
bro.
I've been bugging Varvar this week. Manchester United. This is gonna be a clip. Manchester United losing Julian Delap, Embuemo, and who else?
Not
did you
gonna
guys
make a
lose this
clip.
week? Who
We're
else
not
did they
losing
lose?
anyone.
The Embuemo.
There's one more guy they
Delap.
lost. They lost another guy.
We didn't lose anyone, bro.
Yeah.
Whatever. Club
Didn't lose
World Cup.
anyone.
We need to discuss Club World Cup because obviously
straight
that's the
into it.
biggest fish in the pond
You're
right
the biggest
now.
fish.
The biggest bird.
So we got to go to a game. We got to go to the Palmeiras versus Porto game.
Think about it for a sec.
And honestly, even though I feel like from TV it would kind of look like kind of I would say quote unquote failure, but in my eyes that was a very successful event. Like
Yep.
from
That was
our
sick.
POV, we were in the Palmeiras Ultra
Ultras.
section, and we have to lay it all out because I don't know because I was there first, then you guys followed up. I actually met some Palmeiras Box2Box fans before the game. I met a Flamengo Box2Box fan also
In
that
the
was there
Palmeiras Ultras.
hate watching.
Wanna hate watch?
No, not in the
Ultras.
Ultra section. Motherfucker came to hate watch.
That is
Because
crazy.
supposedly Flamengo and Palmeiras hate each other.
Oh,
yeah.
shit.
So he came to IRL hate watch because he's a New York resident. Came for the real life hate watch. I honestly respect it. I would do the same. If Chelsea were playing in Montreal, I would
you
be
go
there.
see.
If Barca were playing in Montreal, I would be there rooting. Even if they were playing Oakland City, I would be there just for the 0.1%. Not even 0.000001.
There ain't no percentage for that.
No, there's a percentage for that, bro.
No.
Bro, Celtic beat Barcelona with one shot on target, bro. It's definitely possible, bro. Anything's possible.
Celtic is a professional team, though. That's the difference.
At this point, you might as well just Oakland City, Celtic. What's the difference, you know? Rangers stand up. But yeah,
What was yapping?
so Club World Cup so far, do we deem it a success or a failure?
I would say Club World Cup so far has been a success. If you've been to a game, you see the infrastructure that tournament has. I think eventually in the knockouts, everyone's going to be tuning in. It's just a well-run tournament and it's on the zone. It's pretty readily available to watch.
I could envision the last rounds, the quarterfinals, semifinals to be bangers, in my opinion. The only thing, obviously, is the timing of these games because 3 p.m. on a Monday, who could really go see it, right? Like, that's why the stadiums look empty, in my opinion. But I think it's been pretty good.
Even the Flamengo game yesterday looked like a Zuvi. Boca Juniors game looked like a Zuvi. All these South American teams are coming out. Like
They got the fans.
yes, they're putting European teams to shame. The Chelsea game looked like it was the most dead one of them all.
Yeah, but it's also that those European teams may not necessarily see FIFA Club World Cup as like a serious or a very large tournament. I think we all have the perception that it's like a friendlies tournament. But those South American teams or even those like
But that's
African
such a
teams,
stupid way of thinking
I know,
about it because
it is a stupid way of
you
thinking
could
about
make
it.
more money playing in the Club World Cup than you just made all year practically.
And I get that, but I do think like the average, let's say Chelsea fan may not necessarily see this tournament as like a major competition on the level of like a Champions League, obviously. But for those South American teams, this is the showcase that okay, let's show what we're made of to that European
I think
audience.
it's just showing which fan bases have more passion.
More, yeah,
Because
I agree.
Look at Times Square with the Palmeiras fans.
Oh, it's all Palmeiras.
Times Square was
Pumping.
not when we were there, but there was a video circulating
Yeah.
where Palmeiras, there was thousands of them in Times Square doing their chants. Boca Juniors on Miami Beach.
Yeah.
And then you got Inter with one fan greeting them at the airport.
As per.
Then
I
you
mean,
got-
LA.
Then
LA
you
is
got the
kinda
Chelsea game. The Chelsea game in the stands. It was looking like there was like maybe less than like 15,
Even
20,000 people.
Esperance de
Porto.
Tunisie in Times Square was
Crazy,
bumping.
crazy.
Yeah.
So-
Porto didn't have that big of a curva compared to, obviously Porto had a whole section.
Yeah.
Compared to Porto had like a bit of a sliver, but I mean just the fact that
You mean Palmeiras?
no, Palmeiras, sorry.
Yeah.
Porto had a little section.
Yeah.
But that game ended up happening at MetLife Stadium, and MetLife is a monster stadium. That's like 70,000 people or whatnot.
Ferms, what interaction did you have before the game?
with the people in our seat.
Yeah.
So we walk in, right?
Usual ultras
I-
encounter.
Yeah, a classic stadium experience. And I look at row 24 or whatever. I look back at Pala and the other people that were with us.
We were with how many people trying to sit there? 5?
We were 5, yeah,
Yeah.
because Varvar was already there. And I see Varvar alone, and all of the seats next to him all taken. So I'm like, okay, those gotta be our seats, right? So we walk up, and we're like, these are our seats. Look, guy's like, no, your seats are up there. Like
couldn't speak English though.
he
They had to get a
spoke it a bit.
translator. They had to get the translator.
Yeah, he had the New York guy or
Yeah.
whatever. No, I think your seats are up there. No, the seats are clearly these ones. You guys are gonna have to go in your seats. And then obviously they start ganging up and saying, "Oh, but everybody moved us, so we're here now. So you guys have to go and find other seats." And we're like, "Listen, bro, how about you guys go and find other seats? Because these are our seats." Then it started getting rowdy or whatever, but. We had to go find other seats because
Yeah.
these guys were not budging. These Brazilians are very tough.
for Palmeiras fans.
Yeah. Then they start hitting, but we're all Palmeiras fans. And I'm like, but I'm a Palmeiras ultra as well. And they're like, oh, you are? I'm like, I just don't have the shirt, but I'm a Palmeiras fan.
Name 3 players.
Estevao, Gustavo Gomez, and Paulinho.
Oh,
Vitor Roque also.
Vitor Roque.
Felipe Anderson not mentioned?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a legend,
Game's
by the
gone.
way. So, yeah.
Felipe Anderson actually did better in Serie A than he did in Brazil, by the
Yeah.
way.
Yeah, he was
Guy
he was
reeked.
dog water.
Yeah.
Gary.
But no, it was a sick game, and I remember even pre-match, because then we had to start. People kept coming in our seats, like where I was.
Yeah.
I was in front of Varvar. Varvar's alone in one row. I'm alone in the row in front of him, and then you guys were like a little
Yeah.
bit higher. You guys chose to like find some actual seats. And so we were seeing like other people trying to come into the seats around us and getting the same experience that we got. But like at one point, a Porto fan, maybe like his brother or friend or something, and his kid comes into a Palmeiras section, like wearing Porto kits in a Palmeiras Ultra section.
Can't do that, bro.
Bro, as soon as he walks in, he starts showing me his tickets, and then I hit him with the same experience that we got hit. I'm like, brother, my seats were there. They got stolen. I came here. He goes, these are not your seats. These are my seats now. I hit him with the same. And then as soon as that happened, all the Palmeiras fans around him, get out of here. Go to the other side. Somebody told, you have to go to the other side. You got to go to the other side. Because like the Porto fans are on the complete other end. The guy's like, oh, fuck. Oh, tap my back.
Only here to watch a game. This guy probably mistakenly, he's not even a Porto fan. He probably just fucking wear the kit because he's like, oh, I got it in the
Yeah,
closet
he probably
here.
had one. He's like, let's make it an experience.
No, he was Portuguese American because his kid was wearing a Porto kit. Like definitely a family.
That's sad,
As
man.
soon as he saw that pressure being put on him, I'm sure that guy ended up in the Porto area.
Yeah.
But now you guys understand that when a tourist is coming to a game, let's say they mistakenly buy a ticket in the fucking Ultra section at
You're
a
cooked.
fucking Lazio game.
You're cooked.
Yeah, sorry, these are my seats.
No, but here,
Get the fuck out of here.
this is the difference though, because at a Lazio game, say you're in Rome and you go watch a Roma Lazio or whatever, you could expect that obviously in the ultras. We're at MetLife, we're in New York. There's
Yeah.
no reason for Brazilian ultras to be, these are our seats now.
Yeah.
My brother, these are not your seats.
These are MetLife seats.
Yeah.
This is the New York Jets.
Yeah,
This is
like
the Giants.
I would expect like the Club World Cup to make it as inviting of an atmosphere as possible. Obviously, you want the passion, you want the ultras there to support their clubs, but like there needs to be a balance.
I won't just shit on Palmeiras fans though, because even though they could have been like very hostile towards us when the game kicked off, they were telling us
Vibes.
dance, clap, everything.
Vibes.
They were very welcoming.
Well, preface, We had a couple of guys, and you got a couple of shirtless guys with standing on their chairs, pointing at you, literally pointing at you, telling you start fucking singing, or else we're kicking you out of the section.
I was having fun though.
Yeah,
The
I had
chants that
fun.
they sing are pretty cool.
That ref,
Very vulgar,
That
probably.
ref
Was getting
got
angry.
called Filho de Puta, which is if people don't know, son of a bitch, like 10 million times.
Yeah.
Every single call, even though it was right.
Crazy.
Well, look at this son of a bitch. Look at this son of a bitch.
Bro, there was a foul that a Porto player just went flying, like cartwheeled.
Yeah.
Like that was at
just
the
a
beginning
foul.
of the game. And you see Palmeiras fans going, no, that's fine. No, that's good.
No, but they take it to an extreme level, bro. People smashing shit on chairs, like
it's
they take
crazy.
it really, really to heart. They
I
love
don't know.
football.
I don't know. Maybe because like they're in New York and whatever, so it's a little different. But like I feel like in Brazil, that's a
probably the
no-go
same.
zone.
Bro, imagine.
Like I feel like this is tame.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I feel like
Yeah.
we got like
lucky.
5% of the
Yeah,
experience.
yeah.
Imagine an actual like 3-3 with pens, with like all fouls versus like Flamengo or something. That must
Yeah.
be. I don't even think they allow other teams' fans.
Yeah,
One of the
not
guys we were
sure.
with said that sometimes they just don't allow rival fans because they cannot stop
Well, yeah, that's
the fighting.
in Europe. That's what it is too. Like they allocate maybe like 1,000 seats for rival fans in the top third bowl.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
What
I
an
mean,
experience, man.
Yeah, no,
It
that
was sick.
That was fun. But honestly, I think that first game of the Club World Cup, where it was Inter Miami and Al Ahly, like that one kind of set a bad tone because then you heard that they were slicing the prices of the tickets to like $4, and Messi was there, and they still couldn't fill it up. They were manipulating the cameras and whatnot. So I feel like it started off with a bad tone. But I mean, the Palmeiras game that we went to was almost like I think it was 47,000 people that showed up. Obviously, MetLife is a monster stadium, but 47,000 in any other stadium fills
So
it up.
much, yeah.
I
pretty
think
much.
it's going to do a good job of growing the game.
Yeah,
in
and
the US.
PSG Atletico hit 80,000.
Yeah, it
Really?
filled the Rose
Yeah,
Bowl
at the
stadium.
Rose Bowl, they filled it up, which
Wow.
was crazy.
And that shit was 100 degrees Fahrenheit. That
was
day.
hot.
It was
hot.
like
Middle of the day.
scorching hot.
They usually don't do games in the middle of the day Rose Bowl. Like that's usually like an evening game or whatever. But like I mean, I think after, besides that first game, the reception of the Club World Cup has been great.
Yeah.
and I feel like the teams have been really, really invested in it as well. Like they're doing like pop-ups, they're doing activations, they're doing a bunch of stuff to kind of get the vibe going. So
So we think it's good, but what improvements can you make to the next Club World Cup to make it even better?
And I would say first one, try to do it in a more concentrated country. I know we spoke about it before, like off camera, where it was like, you know, if they did it in a more like, let's say in the UK or just in England, it's a more concentrated country and it's much easier to, let's say, see
It
your
doesn't
team.
even need to be a concentrated country. It could just be a concentrated area. Like they could have done it in New York,
East
Philadelphia, Boston. Like
I love the shout you said it in the group chat. London. Imagine like obviously,
But that doesn't
it
grow
had to
the
be in the
game.
US. I know, yeah. But imagine like a Club World Cup in London where you have all these stadiums and all these teams in a concentrated area. It becomes like the Olympics. I think that would be such a great event for football.
I agree, but I think right now the Club World Cup could have only been in a country like
Yeah.
the US that have that infrastructure in place. Because you bring 36 clubs, I think it's 36, is it 32 or 36?
Around there.
You bring 32 clubs to London with all those fan bases, you are getting a mess.
vibe.
It becomes
You're
a
getting,
mess,
it's
yeah.
a vibe, no, but it's a mess. It can't, logistically, it can't happen.
well, that's like saying you can't do World Cup in Qatar. Qatar's only
yeah,
one
but it's
little
worth
fucking
it
thing.
for the World Cup. You know how much shit they have to set up, like
For the World Cup.
temporary hotels, stuff like that, to make that happen.
London has the infrastructure already.
I would say so.
I think
They
it's-
do,
I think
bro.
It becomes
Monster
that. Yeah, but
city.
you to shut down this, when the World Cup is in a city, it shuts down.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the Club World Cup should have that.
It's the first one.
Yeah,
It's
I
the
know.
first one that's at this stature.
format, yeah.
I say let it be a success and grow the sport in the US, and then maybe.
But I
bring
think they
to a
did it to
European-
warm up for the World Cup next year.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
then you don't want
It's like a stress
your,
test.
your World Cup next year. Even though they got Copa America, US been killing it recently. Summer after summer, they always had one massive soccer event. Copa America, tester, Club World Cup, a bigger tester, and then they're gonna have the World Cup, which is gonna be like. I personally think everyone's saying like, oh, it's not. I think it's gonna be the best World Cup. I'm not even gonna cap.
Well, they've done the World Cup in the US before, right? So
Yeah, but that was when, let's be real, like the sport was not that big in the US at that point. Like
Yeah,
it wasn't.
sure, no.
it
Well, no,
wasn't-
they-
Nowadays, like an average American knows probably the top 10 players in the world. Like they know who Jude Bellingham is at least.
Maybe.
So like I think at this point, like I think an average American will go watch just a regular game. Like I think we didn't see it in the World Cup. I think every game will be sold out for World Cup. Every
Yeah.
single one.
Yeah, I agree.
So
It's also because it's nationalities. Like you're going there to represent your country.
Yes.
It's a different feeling. Whereas like PSG Atletico, like you're going there probably for the teams, their top teams. You know.
Look at one of the guys we were with. He was talking about his experience at Copa America, Argentina versus Canada.
Yeah.
Opening game of Copa America. He was at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium,
Which is huge.
how many
Superdome in
seats, you
Atlanta.
think?
probably
80?
70,000.
70 something.
Like
It's a monster
70
stadium.
something, maybe almost 80,000. And he said it was absolute full capacity. The vibe was as if you were in Europe, and that's Canada versus Argentina.
yeah.
So I think for the World Cup, it's gonna be pretty crazy. And honestly, like aside from the Palmeiras ultras, the experience was very, very smooth to get into the game because they're such big stadiums. Like getting in was no problem.
But I heard that the MetLife was getting in was very easy. The other games were not so easy.
Really?
Yeah, that's what I heard.
like for us, security and stuff took like minutes.
yeah.
And then the grounds were nice. They had activities going on.
Yeah.
Like it was well done. It wasn't like half-assed.
Yeah, and it just sucks the weather wasn't great. I feel like if the weather
Yeah.
was nice, it would be a different vibe. But like, for what it was, I think it was a success.
Even the trains and stuff, bro. I've been to European games where you don't
know how you're gonna get home.
Cooked, like the Olimpico, like that's a regular Lazio Juve. That's a Serie A game, and to get back, I had to walk because I couldn't find any form of
Yeah, it's not
transportation.
well connected over there.
And this is MetLife in the middle of nowhere,
New Jersey.
New Jersey, and the buses. And
But they've done it so many times. Like every time there's a Jets or a Giants game, it's filled. Like it's
yeah, but I think a lot of more people drive and they
Yeah,
that
for sure.
and they because of the tailgating and
Yeah.
everything. So
yeah, but the Stadio Olimpico, they've had games there for how many years? They should know how to
Oh, yeah, of
freaking
course.
properly bus
Yeah,
out.
but you're in
everything.
Italy.
But you're also in the city. Like people don't necessarily drive to games.
That's very
I would
true.
say.
I walked.
Yeah, we
Yeah, me
walked.
too.
Cool.
Yeah, I
We
won't.
walked. San Siro too. I walked.
So yeah, I mean, logistically is the only thing because you got a game in LA and a game in New York, so it's tough to really travel and see all of them. But apart from that, I think it's been pretty good.
I did want to bring up though, South American teams have been balling out at the Club World Cup at the start of the tournament. I mean, Flamengo dominated yesterday against Esperance Tunisia, but I mean that's
To be
expected to be honest because South American champions. I don't know if they're still South American champions, but a massive South American team versus like the champions of Tunisia but Boca Juniors and Palmeiras did very well against Portuguese teams. I would say arguably they both deserved the 3 points. Some Benfica fans made
Palmeiras should have won.
I agree.
Yeah, Palmeiras played
should've
very
won.
very well.
They just were missing a
Estevao
final
on
goal.
fraud watch though.
Yeah,
Very
didn't have a good
unimpressed with his first time watching him.
Let's just before we went to the game, you did say, "Oh, this game will be." I will base
Determining.
everything on Estevao based on this. game.
Yes, because that's what we do at Box to Box.
Of course.
No, that's what we do at Varvar.
We watched him once, and the conclusion I came out of it was this guy will never be a success in the Premier League.
One man of the superior player
No,
of the
I'm
match,
joking.
by the way.
Superior.
Won the superior player of the match.
But Ken, no, I'll give my actual Estevao take. He will not come into the Prem and hit the ground running. It might take him a bit of time to get adjusted, and he will not. Madueke right now is a better player than Estevao.
I agree.
Right now,
I agree.
he's a better player. Estevao could become a very good player, but I think when I watched Palmeiras, he was not even like a top 3 or 5 player that I'm like, okay, he played well. Richard Rios played well.
Yeah, he was good.
The center mid with him, the number 5, I'm not sure what his name was, but he played very well. Gustavo Gomez played very well. Samu Omaridion was good.
Baller.
Rodrigo
He was good, yeah.
Mora was very good.
Mora was
very good.
We were all saying it like this guy took over the game almost himself. 5'6", like little techie midfielder. I don't know if he can cut it in Europe because he's really tiny, but he's only 18.
Yeah, but when's the last time you heard a footballer 5'6" really make it? Like
He's
you
18.
were looking it up. Yeah, I know he's 18, but still, bro, and he wasn't quick.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing is that he's
But
very
he's
slow.
techie. Like
Yes.
he got away from a lot of challenges, but
But at the top level, when players are not
Yeah.
like players like a Rodri or something, you're not getting away
How
from
tall
him.
is Doku?
But
Doku's
he's-
at least 5'8".
yeah, but bro, that guy has insane acceleration.
Yeah.
You're talking about generational acceleration at
Yeah.
that point.
I think Mora, I see the potential.
5'7".
He was missing a couple of passes here and there, but if he could finalize those passes,
Well, he just
But
wasn't.
he's
passing.
nowhere near ready for a transfer to a top level team.
no, not yet.
No player on that field, to be honest, looked like they could play top level
Samu,
football.
in my opinion, Samu was
But
class.
even at that,
You could still say, bro, if Gustavo Gomez Gustavo Gomez manhandled him a bit there.
No, but he wasn't getting any
no
service. And then when he did, he kept bringing it down comfortably, turning around, making a run.
I know this is an extreme situation because this is one of the best strikers in the world. But if that's Haaland, he's taking down every single one of those long balls and everything. He's dominating those center backs.
Yeah.
Like Samu still has a bit to go.
You're telling me for 50 million you wouldn't take Samu?
I would.
I would rather personally. Okay,
but I'd rather like John Duran. For 50 million.
But he's not.
John Duran physically is there more, but Samu technically is more there. I don't know. For me, we can get into it later because we will discuss the Gyökeres saga and everything. But like, I would rather Hugo Ekitike than.
Here we go.
Then who?
Samu
Gets linked to Man United once, and all of us.
John Duran though. John Duran.
So you just brought something that's completely unrelated and compared it to something else that we weren't talking about.
Well, no, because that's a striker on the market this summer that would be available for, let's say, 70, 80 million.
They're saying 100 mil.
Yeah, but that was at the beginning. The price has dropped since then. So
Because they don't rate him, or why?
Okay, so now the price drops. So Reindeers, Milan don't rate him because the price dropped from 100
That's
mil.
exactly what happened.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway.
But yeah, that was our Club World Cup dissection. I think
We're
honestly,
gonna keep talking about it as the
yeah,
tournament progresses.
obviously.
I'm just glad it's been competitive. Besides that Bayern Auckland fiasco, but
Yeah, that was,
whatever happened there.
whatever happened there
see Olise,
But that team should not. I'm sorry.
should not be in the. I'm so,
If
yeah,
there's-
I agree.
I doubt there's one. But if there's an Auckland FC fan listening to this, you guys should not be in this fucking tournament.
Yeah.
And then there's the football purists that are like, I love the story of Auckland FC. This guy works a day job, and then, brother, I'm not here to watch fucking charity FC. This isn't a charity match.
Yeah, did you see that the midfielder that was the only one that had like a green rating on FotMob was like a part-time, like an electrician or something?
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, this is supposed to be, if they're trying to make this like a premier club competition, you can't be putting teams that have 9 to 5 part-time workers. Like,
doesn't make sense.
it really doesn't make sense.
The problem is capping it at two teams per country.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, per continent. Is it country?
no, per
No,
country.
country.
Because like
There's
like
8 European teams or some shit. 10
yeah,
European
like
teams,
it should like Ulsan HD, Mamelodi Sundowns. Like, sure, it's fun to talk about these little stories, and but 90% of people don't know where these teams are even from.
Yeah.
We want to watch Liverpool. We want to watch Barca. We want to watch these big clubs that have been competing this season in Europe in the Club World Cup. That's like saying, oh, we're not going to make Argentina and we're not going to make 5 countries in Europe go to the World Cup.
It is crazy to me that Barca and Liverpool are not playing in this tournament.
And like that. Did you see like why teams make it? Like, oh, Chelsea made it. Oh, why?
Based
they
off
won
a
the
4-year
Champions League.
Because they won the
coefficient.
Champions League 4 years ago. Man City, oh, because of this. Like Juventus have not competed. Like, why did Juventus make this tournament?
Because,
I don't.
yeah,
understand.
I agree.
The Juve one was kind
It
of like
makes no sense.
off. I'm not sure why, but yeah, I think that they need to revise how teams get in,
But I think
just allocate more spots.
yeah,
to-
but
to
I
bigger
think
teams.
I think if they did coefficient, like just the top 10 coefficient teams in Europe, I think actually it would have been 4 or 5 English teams, if I'm not mistaken. And Man United would have made it, and we don't deserve to be there.
and probably
So
like 1
why?
or 2
But
Italian
what's up-
teams.
what co-
We were top 10 in European coefficients for the last 4 years, which we should not be.
No, but
Are
they
those
chose
Europa
it's
League finals?
retroactive. They chose it. They didn't choose it.
Yeah,
as
That's how we
probably.
performed in
Yeah.
Europa League, which is so stupid. I think Roma would have made it over. Roma would have
Napoli,
made it.
Yeah.
over Napoli. I'm pretty sure.
Napoli.
It's very
Atalanta
very
would've made it.
the European coefficient system is
Yeah.
so badly.
But that's the only improvement
Done.
I'd say. That's the overarching improvement that should have
Yeah.
been happening. Anyway, next up, Varvar, do you want to explain the whole Gyökeres saga going on in the transfer market?
Okay, so Man United, you guys know I don't want Gyökeres. So I think personally, even at his cut rate price of 65 to 70 million, I'm not a fan. But supposedly, Amorim left, right? And right before January, he left for Manchester United. Big club, obviously he would leave. Gyökeres then said, okay, Amorim's gone. I'm going to leave in January too. My value's at its max. I'm not going to get anything better than this. So Sporting, who are still trying to compete in CL and everything, they say, no, Victor, we want you to stay. We will agree. This is supposedly according to his agent. We will agree to let you go in the summer for 65 to 70 million, probably below your market value, but you will give us more money from Champions League, so we'll agree for you to stay and sell you in the summer. So then Man City poach the sporting director of Sporting Lisbon, Hugo Viana, and then come the summer, Gyökeres is like, okay, guys, so I'm going to start speaking to teams. 65 to 70 million is the price, though, right?
And he thought that they held up their end.
Nah. add another 20 million to that bitch, is what Sporting's saying. So now, supposedly, Gyökeres agent has proof of this 65 to 70 million release clause, but Sporting are saying, no, we never agreed to this. We are never going to sell Gyökeres for 65 to 70 million. It doesn't make sense.
The rug pulled him.
Yeah, exactly.
How could you not have this written down?
I agree. If you don't have this written down, you are stupid.
Yeah.
It was a verbal agreement. Like,
But if you can't back it up, then it's like a he said, she said kind of thing.
But maybe that 65 million was floating around out of pure rumor.
They should have done a Mateus Cunha where Gyökeres signs a new contract with a massive pay raise with a 65 release clause.
Yeah.
So it's safe. Even if, let's say, second half of the season, you shit the bed, you're financially safe because you just signed a new contract for 5 years.
Yeah.
And on a good pay raise, or you get that 65, 70 million move in the summer. Mateus Cunha did the same thing at Wolves. He signed a contract worth like 100-something grand a week at Wolves, but it had that 60 million release clause. So in the summer, if he wanted to move, he could get the move.
a win-win situation.
But
Yeah,
I wonder
exactly.
what agent he has, because I'm assuming he doesn't have a big agent.
It's a Turkish agent. I don't remember his
Look at the
name.
clubs that he's been going through in the past. Like this guy wasn't kind of destined for greatness.
Well, he went to Brighton. He was hyped up at Brighton. I remember like people came in, oh, he's going to have a bit of buzz. Went to Coventry on loan. Well, he had another loan move, failed. Went to Coventry, balled out for Coventry. And then Sporting saw that and said, yeah, we need that. 20 mil, I think they paid for him, or 30 mil from Coventry. Obviously balled out at Sporting. Rest is history. Now, supposedly he prefers Arsenal to Man United. Thank you, Gyökeres. I cannot thank you.
That's
No, Liam Delap was actually a bad. Like I am actually mad that we missed out on Liam Delap, and I told you guys Liam Delap's a good player. Before this, you guys know I did not rate
Wait, it was
Gyökeres that
Gyökeres.
highly.
That was the third. The third person in the trifecta of
So
what
Gyökeres,
Manchester
But he
United.
didn't
Mbeumo
reject
and
us.
Delap.
He just says he prefers a move.
I saw
That sounds like a
a
rejection.
quote that he
No.
said, "I don't want to play for Manchester
Yeah?
United." That's what I
Must have
saw on
missed
Twitter.
that.
Gazzetta dello Sport.
Yeah,
I don't know.
that's
I think it was Milan Post that posted
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. I think
Fearmonger.
I do think that both parties are kind of in the wrong to a certain extent. I do think Gyökeres, like the actions of his agent, whatever, kind of paint a bad picture. Like, I don't know if you ever have that feeling. Like, let's say a player that you would be interested in having in your club, they have this whole like saga and like drama and whatever, and it's like, okay, well, if he's having drama here, imagine what happens when he's at your
it's
club.
the second time, because at Coventry to get the
was the same
move
thing,
to
they forced
Sporting,
move.
he said I'm not training anymore. You guys have to sell me.
Like
And
those
now
are
he's doing the same thing at Sporting.
those are things that like you hope wouldn't happen at your own club once he makes the move, but inevitably like there's patterns.
Well, that's if your club is like Inter-size. If you're Man United, there's no bigger. Like
He's
you don't
taking
get
a page
bigger.
out of Zlatan's book.
Yeah. So
Yeah, whatever you say.
But I think Varvar is going to disagree with me, but I think Juventus are in the race for Gyökeres. High in the
I
race
agree
for
they're in
Gyökeres.
the race. I hope they're in the race. I don't want him at Man United. I really don't think you guys
If Juve
understand.
take another player from Arsenal,
Conversazione.
I'm torn here.
Arsenal Football
But
Club.
listen, Arsenal fans.
I don't see
Juventus
a world.
owns Arsenal.
I don't see a world in which a player rejects Arsenal for Juve now.
It's been happening.
No,
It's been happening.
no. You're saying Vlahovic, but Vlahovic, you gave him a stupid contract. It did not end up being a good move. This
How
is
do you-
so
how do you-
similar to the Vlahovic
How do you win
situation.
transfers? How do you win transfer sagas? You give stupid salaries.
No.
We gave him a stupid salary.
No.
We
No,
win.
you-
we
you-
won. We win.
don't-
And
bragging
actually, no,
rights.
no. Juventus isn't offering him the most salary. Arsenal, apparently, this is like beyond the rumors. This is very just like low level journalism on Twitter. But apparently, he likes the Arsenal.
So we're giving low level journalism a spot.
No,
Give him
but
the
this
maritime.
it makes
Yeah.
sense. He likes
On the
he likes
Box2Box
the
show.
Arsenal contract, but Sporting would rather Juventus buy him because we're putting in the highest bid. So
I don't think you have more money than Arsenal to spend.
we don't, but we value him higher. We would be willing to give him the bigger contract. It all hinges on whether Juventus sell Vlahovic or not. Because if we don't sell Vlahovic, then we're not spending 70 million.
That's how it's been for like 2-3 years now
Yeah,
for Juve.
but thank you to AC Milan. I want to give a formal thank you because they will be taking Dusan Vlahovic off of our hands, and in return, we get Theo Hernandez. We get the best left back in the world according to Firms.
God.
You have to understand,
And we're getting rid
some
of the
these
worst
guys are not
striker in
so
the world.
tapped in. So for them, they actually think like, "Oh my God, this is happening."
I'm not tapped in either because what is this thing that we're talking
It's
about
just
here?
one stupid, shitty fucking report that Palace is bringing up. You have to understand.
So
some
when you
people
bring
take
it-
what we say as like,
Yeah.
oh my God, like
I propagate
some
misinformation.
of our friends will listen to this and be like, Oh my God, I didn't know that. That's actually happening. Meanwhile, they don't know it's about some fucking guy with 2,000 followers
Bro,
on Twitter.
Don't
who's
mislead
saying
the
that
fans.
this is happening.
Don't make them. Are you trying to tell them what to think?
Yeah.
Bro, this is Pal FC journalism right here.
Nice.
Theo Hernandez will be swapped for Dusan Vlahovic.
Yeah.
Okay, so
the deal's already signed.
apart from getting Milan scraps, are you linked to anybody else?
Fikayo Tomori.
Oh, another Milan scrap.
Jeez.
Did you guys see Davide Coppola leaving Italy for Brighton?
Good.
Yeah, good.
But it's
Good.
okay. We retain
No,
Leao.
good for
It's more damning on the Italian clubs for not even paying
Yeah,
more than
obviously.
10 million. Stupid.
good for him.
Whatever. Yeah,
But,
good for him.
I
He's
mean,
gonna ball out probably.
Varvar, you got to pick a side, bro. Is the Premier League the biggest or not?
It is.
So should our players not be playing in the biggest league in the world?
I think it's a good move. I think
Forza.
it's just embarrassing from Serie A that young Italian players feel the need to leave.
Well, there's been so much turmoil at the big clubs. Like, bro, we
But this
there's
does
no
not.
club that's stable.
But once again, I said this. Does this not remind you of like the Eredivisie 20 years ago, 30 years ago, or
No.
the Portuguese league? Well, the Portuguese league was never.
it reminds me
really
of
that
the
big
Prem
a
when I
league.
was young.
Bro, Eredivisie 20, 30 years ago was Ajax, PSV, Feyenoord, all at the top of the game. Like a bit after Johan Cruyff, Dutch teams were like the top creme de la creme. Now,
Yeah, but things
Ajax
develop.
is a 6-time CL winner or whatever the fuck they have won. 5-time CL winner. It's eerily similar to AC Milan. Eerily similar. Because AC Milan have all these CLs and they were such a good team. Now they're just a feeder club.
Yeah, but I do think the brand equity is a little different. Like, I do think Italian teams.
You
have a
think
bit
it's
more
not
brand equity.
dwindling in the world of football?
Yeah, it could still be going down, but I do think we.
No,
still
it's
have more
going
ground.
up theoretically on paper value-wise.
Yeah.
But compared to the rest of the landscape of world football,
Yeah,
it's
then
going down.
Well, it's not going at the same rate.
So,
Say
Well,
it's not necessarily going down.
so Millie,
No,
if you're an
no, I
investment,
disagree with that.
if you're an investment advisor, okay, and everyone around you is going up 10%, but your
Yeah, you're
investment
going
is
up
going up
5%.
5%,
Yes.
is that a good investment?
but the investments
No.
Not okay. Well,
the investments
on a
around you
macro
are not
level.
going up by 10%.
Everyone's
Only the Prem
going
is.
up.
Only the
No,
Prem.
because you think that the Prem is what football is.
AC Milan, okay, once again, Bayern Munich is going up.
No, well,
Real
they have
Madrid,
like 6, 7
Real
players that have
Madrid,
rejected them.
Real Madrid and Barcelona are going up. PSG is going up.
But you're talking about
all these clubs that AC Milan were compared to 10 to 15 years ago.
Yeah,
were
15
in that
years ago.
realm 15 years ago, 10 to 15 years ago. You guys were in that realm. You guys were in the Real Madrid realm. You guys were in the Barcelona. You were bigger than Barcelona 10 to 15 years ago. All these clubs have now surpassed you, and it looks like they're out of sight. Like you won't even reach
But aside
them.
from fear mongering, what's your point?
Nothing. You guys are fucking dog
perfect.
shit.
Yes, no point.
Exactly,
Got it.
Exactly. Next topic.
Thank you, Varvar FC, for
That's how you
proving
shut.
that you
That's
have
how you shut down
absolutely nothing.
Varvar. You just asked
Yeah.
him. What do you
But it's
say?
not just Milan. It's them as well. And you guys are lucky. You guys are good now. You guys are going to turn to shit. So you guys will be.
We
in
just
that
signed a
thing,
$400 million contract with Adidas, bro. $40 million a year. It's
for
okay.
fucking. You signed a lifetime contract for 13 years,
And Adidas is going somewhere.
bro. You realize 30 million in 13 years is gonna be fucking ugats.
40 million.
It's gonna be this. This is what 30 million is gonna get you in, bro. It's not even gonna buy you, bro. 30 million gets
Bro,
Chico
you're acting like-
Conceição.
you're
They
acting
gave
like-
you a Chico Conceição every year for the
You're
next
acting
13
like
years.
you know what other clubs' Adidas contracts are like.
I know Man United is a lot bigger.
What is it?
Oh, you do not want to.
Check it out.
Just open the.
Check it out. Because you can't talk unless you have comparative information. But I know for Juventus, guaranteed 40 million a season
so-
is good.
Man United's record-setting kid deal with German brand Adidas, which is worth a whopping. Read that out, Millie.
900
Don't read it
million
out.
Pounds.
900 million pounds across 10 years.
So you're a little boy.
When was that signed?
I packed you on your head, little boy.
When was that signed?
2 years ago.
Anyway, next topic.
Yeah, you a little son to me, boy.
Enjoy 15th. Next topic. Nico Williams to Barcelona. Do we think it's going to happen? And if so, what would you rate that transfer?
There's a match made in heaven.
Grade the transfer or rate the transfer?
Grade it, rate it.
Give it a grade.
B minus.
No.
Because I don't think it's riskless. Like I think Nico Williams is a good player, but the wages that he's gonna get is gonna be hefty. He's not leaving Athletic Bilbao for 100K a week. He's not leaving. He's not doing that. So you're giving him hefty wages. Meanwhile, I think there are better solutions to that left wing spot, in my personal opinion.
Spitting.
Marcus Rashford.
No.
Hear me out. I think Rashford would absolutely cook at Barcelona, and he would be cheaper. So
The thing with Nico Williams is for Spain, this guy balls out because every system he's playing against is not organized. In an organized league, Nico Williams is not good. I'm telling you, this would be a C level transfer. Gabriel Martinelli at Barca would be better than Nico Williams.
Okay, that's
You're not serious
fucking
with that.
stupid.
I'm
You're not serious.
100% serious saying that.
Now
Oh my
say it
god,
without
that's
smiling.
crazy.
You want me to re-say what I just said?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, let me get rid of the smile.
Even producer T doesn't believe it.
Okay, I can't stop
Composure,
laughing.
lads, composure.
Graded.
I would give it a B plus. I wouldn't go as far as to say A because obviously you have Rafinha there in a left wing position that was Ballon d'Or level. So it's kind of like you're picking between do we keep Rafinha there or do we put Nico Williams? But on a larger scale for a whole season, having Nico Williams, that's depth. And then you have Rafinha there. Those are the pieces that you need to go way deeper in Champions
But
League.
you're also not signing a left winger that can play striker. Like Lewandowski is very old. He's getting very old. Nico Williams can't play striker. If you were to sign a left winger like Rashford or Thuram or something like that can play left wing and striker, then you're filling two positions, two needs at once. You're going to have to go and buy an 80, 90 million, 100 million striker in a couple of years because that's the level that Barcelona need to be at. And financially for Barcelona, I don't know if they can sign. And I would personally, if Barcelona have the money, you have to go get Haaland because Haaland versus Mbappe. I keep saying this.
But the issue is that when we talk about Real Madrid, then we say that all they need, they were one Joselu away. Like Joselu was not the
But
premier
Haaland
striker.
fits that team perfectly.
I understand, but if you have Nico Williams, Rafinha, Lamine Yamal, you don't necessarily need a Haaland level striker in order to compete. You could get a mid-level striker.
When Real Madrid, we're assuming Real Madrid will figure this team out because there's too much talent there to not figure it out. Assuming Real Madrid pull up with Mbappe, Vinicius, Rodrigo, all this world class. Let's say Messi, Antonio, Arda Güler end up. Do you know how much world class talent that is? You can't pull up with a Joselu level striker and expect to win the league.
I know, but you also have Nico Williams and Rafinha there at your disposal with Lamine Yamal. Like, that's depth that maybe if you just face Real Madrid, it might be a challenge. But over a course of the season in Champions League, you will feel the difference that a Nico Williams will give you. That's an advantage for Barcelona. They didn't have a Nico Williams option when they faced Inter in the semis. They didn't. They didn't have any substitution options that could make that difference. I think Nico Williams B+ transfer, but obviously you're taking away from Rafinha, so I do think you got a dark.
But Rafinha has also played Cam this season.
Yeah.
And whether you like him Cam or left wing is your opinion, but to be honest, I think Rafinha, Lamine Yamal, and Nico Williams is an excellent front three.
Of course.
But then
It's
where does this leave players like Fermin Lopez and Dani Olmo?
I would like to see Dani Olmo play striker as a false nine. Fermin Lopez is a little bit the shitty one because obviously like he can't have his playing time. I love Fermin Lopez, so
Bring him to Man
These
United.
players will have playing time. That's the thing. Like modern football now, you're playing 60+ games.
That's true.
You will have playing
Gotta be
time.
okay with sitting on the bench. The big one.
You need 14 to 15 starter level players available in order to go deep into the competition.
Arguably
and win.
more.
Arguably more, really. So if you're pulling up and you only have 11 to 12 players that are starting level, it will be very tough. I saw with Inter, it is very, very tough to win silverware. So
With like 7 starting level players.
5 level starting players
Or-
even. Like maybe there's 2 or 3, maybe. So anyways, I think it's a decent signing, but we're gonna have to see.
I think Nico Williams is a good player. I shit on him, but I do think he's a good player.
No, but you can't do this shit,
Shut
bro.
up, shut
you
up.
can't
Listen,
do this
listen,
shit
shut up,
because
bro.
now you're gonna pull up the clip next year. You either were now he has both angles covered.
There we go.
Okay, I always said
Box2Box.
Nico Williams is a good player versus I knew he was ass.
Gabriel Martinelli is a good player. Bro,
better than Nico Williams though. Do you actually believe that?
I think that would be, it would be cheaper, less wages, and he would be the
I
same level of
actually
player.
cannot
Cheaper
believe
doesn't
that.
mean better, brother.
I cannot
Cheaper
believe
does not
that.
mean better.
This ain't
Anyway.
the first rodeo, bro. You can't say he's ass but good at the same time.
No. Ass is an overreaction because I need to be polarizing because it's a football podcast.
That's a rage bait.
But it's a rage bait. But Nico Williams is a good player. But for the wages, and what are they talking about transfer wise?
50 mil?
60 million.
He has a release
I think
clause,
it's release
no?
clauses. Yeah, something around that.
I don't
The
think so.
transfer fee's
Why were
good.
they talking about 90 million? Did he sign a new contract
No
this
chance.
season?
He signed but it's 50 to 60 million.
Then why was it 90 last summer?
it wasn't 90?
It was.
No,
That's
60.
That's the number that they were talking about.
Maybe because it was after the Euros or something.
Anyway, I think Nico Williams is still a good player. I think he still would fit that Barca team. It just makes sense. He's already played with half of these guys for Spain.
That too. That helps a lot.
But with all these costs, why couldn't they just go get Cunha or something?
64 million euros paid up front.
Oof, but that's a
When-
lot.
but when was
64 up front's a lot.
That's the
release clause.
The release clause. Like in my mind, like, a guy like Cunha that would cost the same thing but less wages.
But they're like
More.
we look at them like similar players, but Nico is a way better presser than Cunha. I mean, there's the reason why
No.
he's linked to Bayern,
No.
brother. As a left
Cunha's a
winger,
very
that guy
good
puts in
presser.
work.
Really, you see this
Bro,
generational
Cunha
handoff?
is a very good presser.
I'm sure he is, but Nico is linked to the highest
No, that's
pressing
that's
clubs
the
in the
wrong
world.
angle to take here. Nico
you
Williams
talking
is
about?
proven in La Liga. Cunha's proven in the Prem. They're both just making moves to bigger clubs within their leagues. That's the only thing that can be said.
Well,
here.
actually moving down the table.
Because
for them.
Cunha in Spain, he's been in Spain before. He did not succeed at Atletico Madrid. He was kind of a failure at Atletico Madrid. He was a younger player, less developed, obviously.
What does that say about the Prem?
But Nico Williams also, I don't think would work that well in the Prem. So
He beat Martinelli.
he would be a better Martinelli. But
Bro, come on, he's better than Martinelli.
yeah,
Everyone
but
forgets
if
that
Nico
first season
Williams
of
goes to the
Martinelli.
Prem, he's not dropping 20 or 25 goals and assists.
Not his first
Bro,
season.
he dropped 10 in La Liga this season.
It's more what he does off the ball. I don't know what to tell you. He's one of these wingers
Off the
that
ball,
doesn't.
Bro, off the ball. Give me a break.
Okay,
Part of the game.
but Martinelli is scoring 25 goals a year.
No, but,
I forgot about
but
that
Martinelli in his first season, he actually has the proof of putting up that much.
And
How
then
long
what did
the
he
fuck
do?
was that?
4 years,
Fucking
5 years ago.
2020?
This season, Gabriel Martinelli definitely put up more than 5 goals, 5 assists.
I fucking hope so. If
The
you're a starter.
bars below the ground.
He might
But
not even.
Williams only started 22
8 goals,
games.
4 assists, exactly. Huh?
Williams only started 22 games in La Liga.
Do you want me to tell you the minutes? 2,300 minutes. Didn't Nico Williams get injured at one point?
Yeah, he's only started 22 games.
He didn't play against Man United.
That wouldn't have saved them.
Yeah,
Might have.
He played 2,000 minutes. Like, he's marginal.
Yeah, I'm just saying, you're also playing for Athletic Bilbao versus Arsenal. Which Arsenal
lot more
you
help.
get, yeah, one's playing, one is the guy on the team, the other one is playing with Saga. The other one is the guy of the guy of the guy of the guy.
Saka was injured all season.
Yeah, but Nico Williams, decent player. Don't let Pala get his clips in next year that he's gonna have a clip saying he's good and he's a clip saying he's
Brother,
bad.
I started my thing with this is a C-level transfer. Martinelli is a better player. There's no coming back from that one.
Okay, so keep that energy next year. Spurs.
I'll keep the Gyökeres energy, by the way.
Oh, I will keep the He's
Handshake. We keep
like
our
we
energy?
agreed. Gyökeres, if he gets a transfer to Arsenal, will not score more than 20 goals, or 20 goals
You-
or less.
you don't really
He will
have a
score,
great
He will
record.
score 15 in around 15
In the Prem.
In the Prem.
You don't really have a great record with Premier League strikers.
Why?
moving to the league? Because I think you
Haaland?
did say Nunez would be better than Haaland.
Yes,
Yeah.
but that's
Yeah.
one
Yeah.
instance.
That's basically practically two.
No,
Nunez
it's
would
one
be better. That's
instance.
one. Haaland would be worse. That's
No,
two.
I never doubted Haaland's ability. I said he would get injured.
So two.
So maybe 3. You
Three.
might
The
think
most- you got
yourself
3
into
in
a
there.
twisted
Injury
three.
Why?
prone player in the
Triple
Prem.
threat right there.
I always knew Haaland was a good player, but it's will he get injured?
Yeah,
Whatever.
but you knew he was a good player, but then put him in the same sentence as Nunez.
Because he had an injury record.
Oh, you also said that Hoyland was going to be
Yeah, but
the
Oh,
next
yeah,
coming
true.
of.
Well, so that's another one for.
Yeah.
But I you see, you have to understand, I learned from my mistakes. I've
you
learned
don't.
from those
You don't.
mistakes. I know buying a motherfucker from Sporting when's the last Portuguese league striker that ended up being good? Name me.
Brother, you literally have Bruno.
Name me. Yeah, he's a striker? Okay, thank you.
cam.
Attacker. Name me a Portuguese
name me-
league attacker that
Name me
ended up being
another
good.
Portuguese league attacker that isn't Portuguese.
What the fuck does this have to do with anything?
You're talking about Gyökeres like
Bro,
he's a homegrown
Goncalo
Portuguese
Ramos went
style.
to PSG, has not been good.
But that's Portuguese
João Felix
style.
he had more hype than Gyökeres, did not end up being
Bro,
good.
those guys played
The last one that was good was Falcao. That was the last
Jota?
one that was good.
What a goal.
Jota?
Jota played at Wolves, bro. That's the level of fucking stupidity I'm dealing with right now,
He didn't come
bro.
from Portugal or Brazil?
Oh my god. So
Service enhance.
Spurs.
Anyways.
Sack Ange Postecoglou, and then bring in Thomas Frank, which I personally think is a good move. What do you guys think?
Jota came from Porto.
Porto B.
It's
Porto A.
I guess it's a positive move. I mean, they kind of play similar. They have different ways of playing that 3-back or 4-back. I mean, I don't know. I don't have much to say about Thomas Frank.
I don't know.
I think it's a good appointment.
I
think
agree.
it's a very
Trying to
solid
be risk
appointment.
averse in my opinion.
Bro,
They're going for
Brentford was
Premier
a
League
difficult
manager.
team this season. Very difficult.
He's
team.
always overperformed. He's
Yep.
every single year he's consistently overperformed. Even year where Ivan Toney was out, you think, oh, where are the goals gonna come from? They came even more. Motherfucker found more
Bro,
goals.
look how many players this guy made relevant. Like Norgard, Damsgaard. The whole back line was good.
Mbeumo,
Wisa, like
Tony.
like I don't know. I think Thomas Frank is a very good manager, and it's going to be better than Ange.
And he fits the club perfectly. I don't know how to describe it. Like he fits the vision.
Not
of the
too
club
relevant.
personally. Yeah,
not irrelevant.
exactly.
Middle
Like
pack.
I honestly think next year Spurs are going to have a very good season. And the fact that I was gonna say they don't have Europe, but now they won the Europa League, so they do have
On your
Europe,
dome,
actually.
by the way.
Early predictions for Thomas Frank next season at Spurs. Where does he finish in the Prem?
7th in the league, plus a decent CL run, like around the 16 or quarterfinal.
You guys?
Is my prediction.
Well, that's cheeky.
I'm thinking. I think 5th.
I find that's a little too high.
It's too high.
high? Too
They
many
don't
competitive
have this. If they weren't in CL, I would have said top 4 probably or top 5.
and they haven't necessarily brought in quality reinforcements.
But
from what I've
they,
seen.
I'd hope they will. Like the summer is long, so I hope they're going to
Spurs,
bring.
It's an investment club. It's not a winning club.
But even like an Mbeumo, like that Son, for example, is out of the door.
Yeah,
soon.
yeah,
pretty
but they're
much
not
gone.
getting Mbeumo.
Who is?
Man United.
He said that
Just
before he
watch.
got
Got on
the straight
camera.
face.
Just watch.
Got it on camera. Thank you.
Manchester United will sign Brian Mbeumo, and it's not even a debate.
Because you're going to give him
Fabrizio Romano said
You're gonna give
he
him
doesn't care that Thomas
400K
Frank went to fucking.
pounds.
Bro, you're so stupid. It's okay, whatever.
Okay, over under 250.
Under, easily under.
It's all on camera, bro. That's why I'm
Anyways,
asking these questions.
these are the players that, if obviously Spurs targets, it means that they have a plan. The Tell, I'm not too impressed with that
Yeah.
signing.
How much was that in the end?
35 mil.
35 mil for
50.
Tell?
35. No, but it was 35 mil after you paid a 10 mil loan fee. So it's one of those
45
Chico Conceição moves.
Yeah.
But
I'm gonna say they finish in a European spot, like deep in like maybe 6th, borderline 7th, because now Premier League gets 7 spots, right? Every season.
well, it's theoretically 6, but assuming that like one of the FA Cup winners is in like the top 6, then
Yeah.
it gets pushed down.
I'm gonna say Spurs finish in a European spot, and in the Champions League they comfortably make it out of the playoff or whatever they're in, and then like maybe like around the 16 exit.
I think they're gonna
Yes.
beat Juve in the CL next year.
Fez.
I think
JK.
I think it's Spurs versus Juventus playoff situation, and then Spurs beat you guys like 4-1 on aggregate.
Damn.
I think Manchester United is not gonna be in the Champions League.
Mbeumo hat trick.
That's a good prediction. Already hit 1 for 1.
That's how we do it over at Box2Box.
Yeah.
So this one's more of a layup to you guys because you guys seem to care about this topic more than me because I realize we're finished. Gattuso announced as the new Italian manager. Is this the all-time low of Italian football?
Sometimes maybe good. This time it's pretty shit.
Yeah, pretty shit.
It's pretty shit.
Pretty shit.
I think there was no rhyme or reason to a Gattuso appointment. I think he's a passion manager, and you need to give him. I would say even with a good team, you still can't have major expectations. He's not a tactician of any sort.
No.
You got to give this guy a random Croatian team
Yeah.
to just take from.
But he
But
does-
he
he
had
does-
that. He's had that.
He
for so
suits
long.
He's let's be real here. He suits international football more than club football.
Yes.
Probably.
Yes.
So
a coach
I'm not saying
that-
he's good.
However-
a coach that's less tactical,
Yes.
and has less experience, good for
Yeah,
international
but
football.
he demands a certain of like authority in the dressing
Yes.
room. Like when Gattuso walks in,
you
you're
know,
listening.
No,
you
but I
know a
think that-
team
that
is not
dwindles
showing
very
up.
fast.
You know a team is not showing up and not giving their all.
No, but I think that dwindles very, very fast. Like you saw with Conceição at Milan, where it was like he comes in demanding a certain level, but if
Once
the players
again,
aren't performing,
that's club football. You have to understand. Gattuso is only your manager for 8 weeks of the year or 9 weeks of the year.
I get it.
Like you might dislike Gattuso and do his all, but you will only have Gattuso for 2 weeks, and then you'll go back to your club for 3.
The issue that I have with this is the timing is so bad. Like you're telling me that this entire time you had on your mind that Spalletti was going to be gone, and in the meantime Ancelotti signs for Brazil.
Inzaghi leaves for Al Hilal.
Inzaghi leaves for Al Hilal. Every Italian manager is circulating around Serie A teams. You have
Gasparini's available.
Yeah, all these managers, and you're left with the scraps, which is Gattuso, who has been fired in Croatia.
And and every time Italy's had a manager slot available, we've kind of always picked a top Italian manager. Maybe not the last 10 years, 10 or 15 years. But before that, like, you had the Lipis, you had the
'cause
Trapattoni.
the crop of players is not a desirable crop of players.
Bro, I hate Allegri, and I would rather Allegri.
Allegri, I think, would be
know what I
very,
mean?
very well suited for the Italian national.
They didn't even pick a top 5 Italian manager.
Because that style of play, like, just win regardless of how you play, I do feel like that's what Italy need right
To
now.
make us qualify for a World Cup.
No, you shake your head, but brother,
Look at all the top
1-0 wins,
international teams. It's not just win managers.
I understand, but Italy right now, if on the brink of missing a third World Cup,
But
I really
it's a
don't
band-aid.
care.
It's a band-aid.
Yeah, it's
Like, but you have to start somewhere. You have to start the
Gattuso is
process
not
somewhere.
the one that's gonna bring back a.
Gattuso's not the one to bring us to a World Cup, I'll tell you that right now.
No, but
Exactly.
like you go look like this would have been an outside of the Italian managers. But like you go look at a Fabregas, okay? Fabregas, when you hear him speak, he speaks about Como and how he needs, like, how Italian football needs to develop from the grounds up.
Of course.
So a person like that, even though the results may not be good in the short term, long term you're gonna get a better crop of players.
This long term,
But-
so
but
stupid because
it doesn't-
it's been 12 years.
Yeah, it doesn't
But
start.
we've not appointed a long term manager.
Conte, I would have wanted him to be a long term manager.
Yeah,
in
but
my
he's
opinion.
not. Once again, that's a manager that would just be, okay, get me the players, I'll figure it out. He's not starting from the ground up of like.
but it needs to
No
start from the
manager is,
top
yeah.
down.
yeah, but I mean,
that's a
you're
different.
failing.
Gravina has to leave.
Yes.
That's always been. It's been the last 10 years like that.
Because you could say Mancini had a good project, but it
Who is
ended up.
Gravina?
Gravina, the president of
I know
the
who he is.
FIGC.
I'm just letting the viewers.
Oh, sorry.
Potentially, they may not know.
He's the president of
the FIGC.
Yeah.
Which is what is the FIGC?
Italian Federation.
Federazione Italiano Gioco Calcio.
What does that mean in English?
What does that mean in English?
the
It's
federation.
the Italian Federation of soccer. You
Bro, there's some people who don't
Yeah,
speak
no-
fucking Italian, bro.
okay? Sorry, I apologize. I thought you were just trying to rage me.
No.
What does that mean?
because
What does it stand
it's
for?
because when we
What
talk
is
about
it?
Italy, like we throw out names and we throw
Yes.
out shit that like most people aren't familiar with. But if you're a Portuguese fan, like you
do not know
the FIGC
Gravina.
is?
Yeah.
Bro,
apologies.
if we're listening to a podcast and they start speaking about the fucking Spanish Federation or naming the head of the Spanish Federation, you won't know who the fuck that is.
Okay, I apologize. I apologize to our viewers. But
Basically,
after three
Gravina
World
is
Cups-
Lord Palpatine in
Yeah.
in
He looks
And he's
like
playing
him too.
both sides.
He looks
Yeah.
like him too.
His pockets and himself.
But that's the first person that needs to go, because if you're missing 3 World Cups, you should have been gone after the first World Cup.
Yeah.
Because this is Italy. This isn't some small team.
It's just
Sorry.
it's never gonna happen, man. It's never gonna happen. This reform won't happen because the reform needs to be reform happens when, especially in like the corporate system, it happens when somebody in high power has had enough and wants to just wipe the slate clean. In this case, everyone is like that at the top.
Yeah.
So you can't have one guy. I'm sure there's a bunch of low level guys that want to form a revolution.
Yes.
But they can't because they're low guys.
Yes.
And what are you gonna do? Take over the Italian
They need a
Federation?
vote of no confidence. They need to.
It won't happen.
Do that.
They'll
It
just be
starts from the
replaced by
top
another
down.
yes man.
But honestly, the one name that's always been circling around Italy for a long time has been Marotta, and I do think that would be a fantastic fit as president of the Italian national team.
I don't understand how he's not part of the corruption. I see him as part of the corruption, not
How?
a solution to it.
What? What are you talking about?
Brother, Marotta is the puppeteer
But he's a
behind
genius.
everything. He's a genius.
Yes.
When you're able to sign Mkhitaryan, the Italian
He's
national
the
team-
Well, when
only-
you're given no money, yeah,
he's
he's a
the
genius.
only person that I think if became the president of the FIGC, I'd actually have full confidence.
Yeah, okay. And then you'll realize that we won't be playing anyone under the age of 26.
No, because
I don't.
that's different.
But
it's a different
as long
than
as
club
there's
football.
a strategy. If there's a strategy, also Inter have probably the best youth academy for Italians in Italy.
They don't.
Right now, yes.
They don't.
For
Yeah, we do.
Italians, they do.
Academy.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, that's wrong because when's the last
Cesare Casade,
Okay, when's the last Inter youth player that's Italian that came through?
Francesco Pio Esposito.
For
Sebastiano
Inter is
Esposito.
different.
And you're naming people that not one person that's listening.
For
Spezia,
Inter-
Spezia top scorer for Serie B, 19 years old. Came out of the Italian
Camille,
youth.
you're not helping yourself.
Yeah.
Please
Yeah,
shut the fuck
why?
up right now. Shut the fuck up. Shut
Why?
the fuck up.
But the issue is that Italian football is so down that we have no talent coming up.
But
like
look at
Lamine Yamal, we
DiMarcos,
don't have that.
The DiMarcos, even the ability to realize
28.
Yeah, but he came through Inter Academy.
Yeah, after
But he didn't get
13
there
low
until he
moves
was
at Hellas
26.
Verona.
Okay, but he came through though. That's like saying Chelsea's youth academy like doesn't count because players went on loan. Like no, that's stupid. They
It's
count as the
levels.
academy.
It's just levels.
Like a player like Bastoni, the ability to see that ability, the ability to see. I'm gonna just
Holy
say
yap.
the ability to see that ability and spend 40 million on him as a 17-year-old or 18-year-old is a very good that's insane talent
Yeah.
ID, and you know that player can turn into a generational player. So even Barella, he's the only one that's able to see Italian talent for what it is, like the real gems.
I agree, and it's not like he's tied down by transfer strategy and budgets and money and bottom lines and stuff. Like you're able to affect grassroots level Italian football. So
I would hate Marotta.
I don't hate the shout. I think it's good, but
What's your alternative, Paula?
literally no one. There's no
I
one.
don't know. Like I don't.
Maldini?
I'm not. No, of course not. I'm not there. I don't know.
I wouldn't mind Maldini.
Bro, I don't know. Bro, I wouldn't mind if you go get an Italian manager, let's say, that's had experience in Europe, and bring in non-Italian people to be the head of this scouting department, the head of this youth. It doesn't always have to be within Italy.
Oh, I agree.
The manager, in my
that'll never
mind,
happen
the
in
manager has to be Italian, but the other ones can just be proven people.
But
from
why
that.
will it never happen? Just because
never
you say so? Like, why will it never
Because
happen?
Italian.
because it's Italian, the culture is so archaic around this type of thinking that it will like
So you think
even with players,
Italian is worse than Brazil?
I think with the idea of hiring someone that isn't that nationality, yes.
But Mili, it's coming. Look at Ferrari. This is the whole culture shifting.
Well, that's Ferrari has been dismal for. I
No,
mean,
but I'm
Italy
saying like
too.
Vasseur, the appointment of Vasseur, like he was part of
fine.
Ferrari in the past, but like they hired a non-Italian team principal.
Yeah, but he's been part of the system for
Hamilton.
decades.
Like we could have signed.
Well, we had Jean Todt, like, and that was our most successful era.
yeah, but still, I mean, like look at Hamilton. We could have signed
Antonelli,
which was Italian youth.
Yeah, I
Italian
agree.
youth, but on the F1 side,
I agree.
I feel like Italians. There needs to be a shift away from Italian, because obviously Italians are not developing proper anything at this point. On the management side or the playing side.
I do think that if there is reform and the grassroots levels changed, I don't think we'll ever get a Lamine Yamal coming out of the ranks straight into a first team. That'll never happen.
We had
but it
fucking
will.
Francesco Totti, we had Del Piero, we had all these fucking generational players, but
Yes.
now, because Lamine Yamal, we can't do that.
I don't
Bro,
think we can
Spain
do it with
20,
Lamine
30 years ago was a fucking Ugats nation.
We also have to understand Italian football. The majority of them are now shifting to a 3-5-2, and that inhibits the growth of wingers and
literally-
attackers.
But who cares?
Bro,
Who
that's
cares
crazy.
about not
Mili,
growing the next Lamine Yamal? We
last-
can grow the next Pedri, though.
Last podcast, I literally said that.
We can grow the next... Why?
That's
why?
crazy that you
no,
think
we-
like.
I don't think we said on the podcast. We said it.
I said it.
said
I
it
remember
off the
saying
podcast.
it. No, I was saying it on the podcast.
But who cares
That
if we don't develop the next Lamine
No,
Yamal? Bro?
because
We can develop the next
3-5-2
Jude Bellingham.
3-5-2
hinders wingers.
We can,
There's a reason why
who
we have no
cares
good
about
forwards.
wingers?
It does,
Who cares?
it does, because
Bro, we can develop the next Haaland.
But we don't because
Why? Because 3-5-2, we have two strikers. We should develop more Haaland, theoretically.
we focus too much on the tactical
Yeah,
side of
the
things
tactical.
instead of the technical side of things. That hinders your
Oh,
progress.
I agree, but who cares about developing wingers? If you say, oh, we're gonna
What
play
do you mean?
3-5-2,
Who cares about? Then forget Lamine Yamal and Nico Williams. You're never gonna have
Sure,
that.
I don't
that'll
want. If we're playing 3-5-2, I don't
the
want
fuck
Lamine
am I-
Yamal or Nico Williams. Give me Haaland, though.
Yeah, but then we should be playing.
You're
in
not getting a
systems
Haaland.
that-
I don't
that
need
allow
Lamine
that.
Yamal. Give me good players. I don't give a fuck about what position they play.
Bro, Millie,
Oh
your
my
team
goodness.
literally went
We
to
don't have good
Champions League
players.
finals because
Yeah,
of a
and we
3-5-2.
shot the bed both times.
So
Like,
what?
But
I mean, so what?
that's unrelated. You made two Champions League
You
finals.
beat the team with Lamine Yamal and fucking.
with a 3-5-2.
I understand, but I'm telling, like, from a development level, if you're gonna shoehorn every single winger in Italy, a youth level winger, to a 3-5-2 wing back, you will not have the techie left wingers, skinny, fast. Like, they're gonna need to put
you
on
don't
muscle
need
and be
them.
wing backs.
But look at our strikers. Moise Kean, Scamacca. All these guys are Haaland prototype players. They're just shit, but they're Haaland prototype players. We are breeding that type of striker.
We
They're just,
shouldn't.
none of them are good. Lorenzo Luca. They're just big target men. They're just shit.
And then big target men aren't technical. Big target men aren't fast. Then you put them with wing backs that aren't fast.
But Erling Haaland works.
Haaland works because he has two wingers next to him.
Bro, we developed Destiny Udogi. That motherfucker fast.
Yeah, but then okay, he's okay.
Just
but
because DiMarco
I'm sorry.
doesn't mean that's the prototypical
No,
Italian.
I'm not
wingback.
bringing up DiMarco. If anything, Udogi should start over
Bro,
DiMarco.
a guy
no
like
questions asked.
Cambiaso is not a prototypical Italian player. He's two-footed. He can work up. He can work back. He's more of a
but
Spanish type player.
These
than he is
guys
Italian.
need to play left back and right back.
Yes.
We need a right wing and left wing. We have
But
no.
why? Why are you saying like what
Spain-
makes you say
Spain
that?
Because
won
that's-
off of a
because you're just
4-2-3-1.
copy and pasting what works for Spain. We
No,
don't need to do that.
because we are not.
That's arrogance. That's
There's
ignorance.
no,
what you're saying is
No.
arrogant.
We can
No.
develop an Italian way of playing, and stick to that. We don't need if we get Lamine Yamal, amazing.
You're
If we start
missing
playing
the
with
point.
wingers and everything,
You're missing
but
the
we
point.
don't need
You don't have a
wingers.
point.
No,
we
you
just
gotta
need-
have a
What's
point.
your point?
The point is that we're focusing too much on the defensive side of things, the tactical ones. To stay in this position, stay in a deep block. You're not focusing on the technical ability.
Sure.
We have no one who could take a man 1v1.
That doesn't mean we
Nobody
need a fucking
dribbles
winger.
upwards.
That doesn't mean
Everybody
we need a
always goes
winger.
backwards.
There's center mids who
That's my
dribble.
point.
There's center mids who dribble.
Yeah,
We
bro.
have center mids that don't dribble, bro.
But
You
that's
understand?
the issue. We don't need fucking Lamine Yamal, bro. I'm not asking we need fucking wingers. Who cares?
Yeah,
we
but-
just need players. We need good players.
Why do
we
need
have
dribblers?
good players.
Bro, Inter
You need-
dribble zero fucking people.
Yes, and now we have to do a full revolution because
But
our
that's
team
because
doesn't know how to
that's different.
dribble.
That's because we're in Italy and we're broke and all that shit. Bro, you guys made 2 CL finals with zero dribbles.
As a player,
And
as
that's
a-
horrible.
As a youth
Zero
player,
dribbles is not the way of
what's horrible about
producing
that?
talent.
as a youth
just
player,
doesn't work.
As a
you
youth,
want to watch drippy wingers? I don't get it.
no,
Drippy
because
wingers, bro,
as a-
we are shit.
it's not about youth. It's not about drippy.
all
and
the
anything.
Italian. It's not about drippiness.
You know what it
It's
is?
technical ability.
I want
It's-
to drippy.
No,
left
because
winger.
unfortunately, if you-
Ignorance, bro.
As
Can't
a
believe.
as a young Italian midfielder, let's say, you will be brought up to scan, find the open man as soon as you get the ball pass. As soon as you get the ball pass.
I agree,
That
but
is
that's
terrible.
an issue. But that doesn't mean we
Can I
need Lamine
finish?
Yamal.
Can I finish?
Go.
Give me a sec. Because unfortunately, if you breed midfielders that only do 1 touch, 1-2 touch, try to find the next man because that's what the tactics say, you will never unlock the abilities of youth players that may have the skill set to not necessarily be a Lamine Yamal, but unlock them to be very elite level players. Like a Chiesa, I'm sorry, that Euros when he won, I struggle to find a winger that technical in Italy that could play like that consistently. It will not happen in a 3-5-2. I am sorry,
And
it
guess
will not
what?
happen.
In the Euro 2020, he was our savior.
And what do we play? 4-2-3-1.
Yeah.
And in Spain, what do they play? 4-2-3-1. I'm not saying play exactly like Spain, but I'm saying there's a formula that Italy has had for decades, which has always been a 4-2-3-1. Develop the wingers, develop midfielders, and you play cohesively like that. Not
So you're
to
saying
soak
we
up
need to
pressure.
change the formation?
Wow, revolutionary.
No, if you want to play, if we
not what
can
he's
play
saying.
right now, our squad is most suited to 3-5-2.
Because our grassroots are shoehorning us into a
but
3-5-2.
there's ways of winning with 3-5-2.
There's ways, but
There is.
I think this is a very good crop of in context. I do think in the last 10 years, the crop of Italian players
No.
have grown.
No.
You will not tell me after watching 2013, 14, 15 that this Italy team is worse level crop than that team. You will not tell me that.
that's
That is
We had
heinous.
Bonucci, we had
That is
Chiellini.
not
No, but
youth
that's not
level
youth,
talent.
bro. We had no youth.
That is mid 2000s. Fucking Barzagli won the World Cup.
Tell me a year,
in
Millie. I'm gonna look
06.
it up.
Our midfield is looking better.
2016 Italy.
It's
Yeah,
our
actually, not
forward.
either 2015 or 2017. one of
The
those
issue
years.
is consistently our
2016.
forwards. We
I
have
think that
no
was
class
Euros.
forwards.
But those
not
forwards
breeding-
don't need to be dribbling fucking Lamine Yamal.
No.
They
No,
can
but
be
that's-
Erling Haaland. They can be fucking Lewandowski.
But how do you
we're not
think
even
that
breeding on Erling Haaland.
Yeah, how do you think that comes?
But once again, we don't need. You said we need Lamine Yamal. We need dribbling. We need shit like that.
No, that's
that
not
can
what I
come
said.
from other places. Wing backs can dribble.
That's not
just
what I
because
said.
they don't do it at Inter
No.
doesn't mean that
You're
He
taking
doesn't-
my,
yeah,
he
he's
doesn't understand.
dumbing down the
saying,
whole argument.
No, I'm saying I didn't say we need a Lamine Yamal. I'm saying the way that the Italian system is built upon right now in a 3-5-2, you inhibit the evolution of youth players that could be playing similar to Lamine Yamal. I'm not saying look for Lamine Yamal.
Yes.
I'm saying the way we play, you're shoehorning youth players that may have the ability to be technical into very tactical
Yes,
robotic
exactly.
system.
You got it.
players.
And
Straight
me
on.
and Varvar are countering you by saying, why do I need a Lamine Yamal when I
no,
can
because
get a
the
Erling
issue.
Haaland?
No. The issue is that the youth teams are too results focused. That's the issue.
Okay, we're getting into a topic where we
I
have
don't
no
know.
idea about.
No, it is. It is.
The youth-
Italians are too results focused.
Well, listen,
Because
our
we're
youth
broke,
teams end
we
up
need
doing
to
well.
win.
No, that's different because our youth teams actually do perform well in international tournaments.
but then
U21s,
they
we
never
make
develop
semifinals and
into
finals.
actual fucking
Yes,
players.
That's a different step. That's a different level. I do think a U23 team does help that. I do think that if you allow players to grow and be able to, like that, it's a whole culture thing at the end of the day. But I do think that the system that Italy plays right now, we're not allowing youth players to really express themselves and show how tactically sound they are or how they could be. That's just the reality of it.
Yeah.
Imagine Ferms as a techie winger being the only way to play on the Italian national team is
Facts.
you have to be a right wing back and you have to always look for the open pass. You cannot
And
take
the
on
open
a
pass
man,
is always backwards
and you
because there's
cannot
no one forward.
You can't take on the open man, and you're gonna have to overlap with a midfielder or whatever. It completely goes against the way a winger plays.
I've heard both of you
That's
guys,
stupid.
Varvar,
It's
I've
not
heard both
stupid.
of you guys criticize Pep wingers that they always come back and they don't take the man anymore.
Okay, but then
That's the same
Grimaldo, who's a fucking wingback, can't play for Spain
Exactly,
because
that's
he
what I was
doesn't
gonna
have
say.
a fucking four-back
Exactly.
formation.
He's playing left back.
He's not playing left back.
But you do understand there's a Nico Williams in front of him.
Okay, but that's so stupid though.
Some
Because
things get shoehorned, but
Ferms,
some things
that
don't.
means that you have fucking DiMarco behind you. There's
Yes.
ways of playing that aren't just fucking 4-3-3. I can't
There's
believe I'm the
ways
one
of playing
telling
that it's
you
not
this.
a 3-5-2.
Yes, I agree.
A DiMarco
but right now
should
our
be playing
team
left
is more
back.
suited to a 3-5-2, so develop players are a 3-5-2.
yeah, developers 3-5-2, and what happens? We end up losing 3-0 to
Okay,
Norway.
so
What
now
happens? We miss
okay,
two
so
World
now
Cups.
we're gonna go to 4-2-3-1, and we're gonna shoehorn Bastoni into a 4.
Well, no, I think now it's too
And
late.
DiMarco as a left back.
Yes,
No,
yes.
And Tangasso as a right back.
Now I think it's too late because now we have no choice but to go in with a manager that plays 3-5-2 or whatever.
But
Let's see
Mili,
what that
Mili,
means.
forget
Mili,
being
can I
too late.
explain
We have no
something?
choice.
If the U17s that just won the
Yeah.
whatever, the U19s and the U21s
Yeah.
and all these guys,
Yeah.
if they play 4-3-3 football,
Yeah,
They do.
they can develop wingers that are good.
Yeah. Then
And
what
then
happens?
the Italian national team will have wingers that are good.
And then what
And then
happens?
we could
So-
play a 4-3-3.
No, and then what
So
happens?
that's exactly what's happening.
Every club level, every club team is playing 3-5-2.
The,
and then Italy
the
national team is playing
U17,
3-5-2.
the U19s, and the U21s do not have to play 3-5-2s.
They're not playing 3-5-2s.
So then what's your point?
That
Because
there's
now what
wingers
happens-
coming up and they're put as right wing backs and left wing backs.
Now,
they're
now
not.
those wingers that play U21, those wingers that play U21, I don't know them off the top of my head, but the wingers that play U21, they know that if they want to play for the senior team, they're gonna have to play wing back. There's no way around them playing
if we
winger.
ever get a generational winger, I can assure you that the Italian national team will change the formation so that there are wingers. If we ever get a generational
We're not
winger.
changing a
No,
formation
for
for
one
Matteo
player.
Cancellieri.
Exactly.
We are not doing that.
But
But
then-
why? Why? Because we don't. Because now you're bringing up Cancellieri as this fodder player. Why? Because
He
the
is
system
a
that we
fodder
play,
player.
But the system that we play don't allow wingers to
Did
flourish.
Spain develop Lamine Yamal or did Barca develop Lamine Yamal?
But he had
Barca.
to-
Barca.
but he still has to
Barca.
play for Spain.
Yeah, but he barely
He,
did.
he barely did before he became goated.
Well, yeah, because all of a sudden he's 16, 17 years old. He's so good he could play for the national
Bro,
team.
Barca have instilled. Bro, that's like the.
That's
like,
Barca.
That's
You're bringing
like going,
up the best youth team in the fucking
That's
world.
what developed
and that's what
Lamine
you're
Yamal.
doing. That's what you're saying. You're saying we should
No.
market our. We should copy and paste Spain. Is what you guys are saying.
I'm not saying copy paste. I'm saying the way that we play does not allow for attacking players to flourish. It doesn't. Why can't we score? Because our attacking
But
players
they're
don't
playing
flourish.
for. They're playing for a club.
scored 7 goals against Barca. They're playing a 3-5.
And which strikers were Italian?
But that's
none.
the point, is that the fucking Italians don't develop.
Because we're forcing them to play positions they can't play. Anyways, we're going
You're telling
Yeah,
me we
we're
can't
just going in
develop
circles. You're
Lautaro
not gonna
Martinez?
convince
I
them.
don't
We
think
can't
you're
develop
getting.
a Lautaro
I can't
Martinez
believe
or
you
a
guys
Marcus
enjoy
Thuram.
watching a 3-5-2 where they're
I enjoy
they're
watching
I
winning.
enjoy
limited.
watching good
Winning,
players. I
exactly.
don't give a fuck about
Yeah.
the formation.
Me neither.
I don't give a fuck. I want to watch good players.
Yeah, you want to? I say that too until we're about to miss 3 World Cups, and
because
I'm
we
gonna say, I don't
can't
give a
develop
fuck.
good players
God, I don't
because
give
you
a
guys
fuck.
don't have a.
We do
Serie
develop
A
good
do not
players.
have a La Masia. They do not have a La
No.
Fabrica. They
Mili,
do not
Mili.
have a Carrington. They do not have that shit.
Melly, this like this bringing a microscope over
Yeah.
this winger issue.
It's
and
not a winger.
completely-
not a
You are
winger.
dumbing it down
Let
as
me
a winger
finish, let me
issue.
finish. Let me
But
finish.
it's a stupid
Let me
argument.
finish. So you're taking a little corner of this and extrapolating it to the whole squad. We've played with 2 center mids for the eternity of fucking time, and we will forever play with 2 center mids. Why have we not developed a player even at the Çalhanoğlu level up till now?
Was that a Gista?
Right now, a box to box.
Well, Barella.
We have
No,
Barella behind them. Who the fuck is playing behind them?
Yeah, who?
Bro, why aren't we developing
Tonali,
a top
Barella.
level center mid, like a world class
Tonali,
Bellingham
Tonali.
center mid?
I
would say our
World
midfield
class.
is
You guys
good.
are talking about Yamal. Why aren't we talking about Bellingham? Why we've always been able to develop a CM.
We have good midfielders and we have good
Yeah.
defenders, but unfortunately, it's a full package. Well, if we have very good young attacking players coming up the ranks playing different styles of football, then I honestly think we'd have a better chance of finding a higher level talent. But if you're shoehorning every single player to play 3-5-2, and that's the only way you could play in order to play for the Italian national team, you will unfortunately have players that fall through the cracks that may have had the ability to play elite level football, but unfortunately will not be able to because they're stuck playing 3-5-2.
I don't agree. Fully agree with you.
I honestly
So just
think
tell them to leave Italy. Like play club somewhere else.
Okay, all
Raspadori.
right.
You're trying to bring up like the fucking Raspadoris. That guy's dog shit.
I'm not. I
bringing
never
up any-
brought up Raspadori. I'm talking about from a systemic level. You're bringing up individuals. I'm bringing up systemic issues. Why do we have a Raspadori? Why do we have
Because the
a
clubs
Keane
aren't
and a
investing
Scamacca?
enough into their academy. It's the clubs that are the issue within the system.
They are part of the issue.
They're part of the issue. They are.
No,
Because-
Inter is playing a 3-5-2. That's the only issue.
Sure, they
We have
should bring up
wingers.
players with 3-5-2.
Not
you
Italian
guys should
wingers.
bring up Italian wingers.
But I'm saying if an Italian winger exists and he's fucking good,
Yes.
he will play winger
Yes.
at Juve. He will play winger at Milan. He will
They'll
play winger
change
at
the
Atalanta.
formation.
At Napoli, he'll play winger everywhere. It's only Inter.
It's not about being
Why-
wingers.
why is
It's
this an
about
Inter
the.
issue?
It's
an
a
Inter issue.
technical
because you're the only
ability
team
thing.
that plays a 3-5-2.
We do not.
Not necessarily, bro. Half of Serie A plays.
Yeah,
3-5-2.
Napoli, Inter, Roma played, Juve played.
The point. The point is.
Plays.
The
We
point.
play whatever wins.
The
we
point.
play a 3-back,
The
5-back.
For fucking the last 5 games of the season.
The point is, we do not have a La Masia, we do not have a La Fabrica, we do not have a Carrington, we do not.
Easy to say.
There's 6 academies better in England than our best academy.
Okay, no.
There's like it's just France. Every single fucking Lyon, Nice, all these academies have better academies than us. It's the clubs need to invest more into their academy. It's just a fact. Nothing will happen without investment. Portugal have easily fucking Porto, Benfica, Sporting, all clear of our best academy. Even though they have 10% of the resources available to them, they have much better academies.
Because they have
Fact.
to rely on them. They have no choice but to rely on them.
So why are we not relying on them? We tried to act like we're top of the food chain.
no,
Meanwhile, we're fucking middle of the
I
food
agree,
chain
but
now.
we also it needs to be a cohesive effort from the Italian Federation and the clubs. No one is helping each other. Do you understand? No one is helping each other. At any point, have you seen the Italian national team go to the clubs and say we need to reform how we bring up Italian youth? No, they're two completely different things that don't help each other. Even though we have said multiple times, the clubs and the national team need to work together. It doesn't work. It doesn't happen. It does not happen. And for you to say that we don't need a Lamine Yamal is ignorant.
We can have a Lamine Yamal of left wing backs. We can have a Lamine Yamal.
That's embarrassing.
That is embarrassing.
Left
What
wing.
did I say
Embarrassing.
that was that fucking
I hate when
crazy?
people
We
look
can have
at-
the
I hate-
We can have the Lamine Yamal of
left wing
strikers.
backs.
We can have the Lamine Yamal of fucking
Ferms.
2 strikers.
Oh my god.
Formations.
Yeah?
Like Lamine
I'll wait for
Yamal
it.
is just like what? I don't understand
Millie,
what
Millie,
the
if
fuck.
we had-
We can't develop Mbappe.
I'll wait for it.
We can't develop Mbappe.
I'll wait
Millie,
for
if
it.
we had Sorloth and Haaland as our 2 striker options, I can
We
assure
would-
you,
we would score,
We would
obviously.
be okay.
Yes.
Because you have Cambiaso, Di Marco crossing into Sorloth and fucking Haaland. And Barella, Tonali, and Locatelli
There's
providing
too
the
many
ball.
issues. There's
Believe
too
me,
many-
we're fine.
We'll see.
No,
To say
we
we're
would be
fine.
fine in that Haaland-Sorloth situation.
But we can't develop.
But we hype up fucking Scamacca just because he does a couple flicks and then he fucking busts out West Ham.
Yeah, okay, when he was at Atalanta.
I really do. I think it's so naive saying that changing the formation so that we'd have wingers
No.
in the Italian national team would do absolutely anything. The problems are so far away from the formation.
Oh my
It's not
God.
even funny.
It would help breeding technical talent. We
Yes.
focus too much on tactical.
Yes,
I'm gonna keep
I
saying it.
agree.
It's the same shit.
I agree.
We're going in circles.
I agree.
Because we pride ourselves on that as Italians. to
and
be
pride
tactically
ourselves. I'm
sound.
gonna pride ourselves on missing 3 World Cups. That's what I'm gonna say. I'm
Okay,
gonna
so
pride
let's
myself.
lose our identity.
But you
to
can be
become England.
technical.
Identity. Who gives a shit about identity, brother? I want to see my team play a World Cup. I don't give a fuck about the identity.
Okay, so let's go sign a
You
random
can be
fucking
technical
manager.
and be
I don't
3
care.
back.
Okay, so you're okay with us signing a non-Italian manager?
It
no,
limits
that I'm
you.
not. That.
Oh, but I draw the
That's-
line there.
No,
there's
there-
integrity now.
Because I'm unfortunately like you have to.
You can't
also
pick and
understand-
choose, bro.
No,
You
I
either
can't pick
throw-
and choose.
You either,
Here,
you
wait.
either become England or you stay as Italian.
Varvar.
Okay. All
you
right, no
you
problem.
always talk to us about the wingers in the Prem compared to the wingers in Serie A and the defensive side of covering those wingers in Serie A. Wouldn't you say that the Prem has a stronghold on
Prem does not
1v1?
equal England. Prem does not equal England.
It's actually similar.
Oh, the way they bring up players is similar, but the best wingers in the Prem are not English. Like there's only Saka really, and that's about it.
It's not, bro. What Saka? That's
Your whole
about it.
defensive line is from the Prem.
Yeah. Oh, the team is mostly from the Prem, but their team's from like Crystal Palace and shit like that. It's not like Saka.
That's a healthy league.
Yes,
that's healthy.
I agree.
Yes.
But the Italian league, they're just producing no one. Like we can have a fucking Haaland. That's not. There's no one stopping us from developing a
But we
Haaland.
won't.
The Italian
we won't
Federation is
develop
stopping
a
us.
Lamine Yamal. Agree, we won't develop a Lamine Yamal. There's no reason for us not to develop a Haaland. That's all I'll say. None.
We won't
Zero.
because we're still focusing on the defensive side of things of being
Okay.
tactically sound.
You guys
crazy
really
to
think if we change this formation that you guys are
No,
proposing,
it's not about changing the formation.
It's about
a
teaching-
grassroots
yes.
level, teaching youth
Yes.
players that they
So
can
you're
be free,
telling me
they can
that
express themselves at a technical level.
Players,
It's about when you get the ball as a winger, you go forward, don't go backwards. Simple as that. You take the man on, you dribble him.
but
we have no dribblers on our team, bro.
With a 3-back formation, they cannot be technical.
Who is the technical players on this team?
But that's not a formation issue.
No, but we're not talking like
Verratti did it all.
Yes.
He did it all by himself.
no, because what
Verratti had to leave Italy to do
Yes,
it.
what me and Ferms are saying is that from a youth level, Italian youth kids are taught play by what the coach says and do not make mistakes and
Yeah,
only play
exactly.
tactically. If you
But
mess
that
up,
has
you're
nothing
off the
to
team.
do with the formation. That's what I'm
That's
saying.
what I'm saying. I agree.
But
That's
it's
what I'm saying with
factors.
Varvar.
It's factors.
No.
Because a 3-5-2 only breeds tactical play. Only breeds
Okay, so
tactical
now we
play.
change it?
Inzaghi, how did he play? 3-5-2.
So
and
Xabi
specific
Alonso,
patterns, that's it.
so
Yes.
Xabi Alonso's fucking players are not creative.
Is he Italian?
Florian Wirtz
Is he
did not
Italian?
succeed
No, but
under
is he
fucking.
Italian?
What he's trying to say is that a
Florian
3-5-2 could be
Wirtz,
creative.
Xabi Alonso, Florian Wirtz, he did nothing for his development.
What does that? But do you understand
That's
that?
actually a great point.
How
No,
many
it's not-
dribblers do
That's
they
a
have
good
Brother,
point.
what?
on Leverkusen?
How many dribblers do they have?
They had
They
Florian
have
Wirtz.
Frimpong. We can't develop a fucking Frimpong. That's that's
Brother.
one of the best dribblers in the fucking world right now.
And the way that we play does not allow for a
Bro,
Frimpong.
you get a fucking Patrick Schick and you get a
But you can
Florian
develop
Wirtz, you
those
win.
players in a 3-5-2. You
Okay.
can develop them. Whatever, we can
Okay,
speak. We're going in circles.
I think you need to understand the crop that players that we have. Yeah, okay.
It's not because of the
they're
3-back.
developed for a 3-5-2, but then you are missing out on players that have the technical ability to be the Chiesa level or even better because you're shoehorning them in left wing back, right wing back, or you're shoehorning them into a striker.
we need to. I agree. We need to
Oh, now you
emphasize more on
Now you
on
agree.
technical, but it has nothing to do with changing formations.
It helps.
Has nothing.
It helps.
Nothing
Oh
to
my
do.
God.
As a winger, if I were to play as a left wing back, I'd be like, what am I doing
Okay,
here?
sure,
But you
100%.
wouldn't
If
be.
you are a
I
winger,
would because I wouldn't be a
For your
striker.
club, but for your club, if you were that good,
if we were teaching
you'd be
kids
playing
from
for a
4 years
good
old,
club that's left
if you
wing.
were teaching kids, if from 4 years old you were playing center mid, you would not give a fuck about this 3-5-2 bullshit.
Center
my
mid,
God.
obviously, we're good with
Or
that.
striker.
So then the issue is
Everything else.
So then the issue is that you were till 16 years old you were told to play left winger. Meanwhile, there's no open left winger play. Every team, if we're gonna stick to 3-5-2, 90% of teams in Italy should be playing 3-5-2.
Listen,
Yeah,
the
that's
last
working
thing,
out for
the
us.
last thing I'm saying about this is Italy's always had a prolific strike. Italy and prolific strikers go hand in hand. We've never had a generation where like Spain, where it's Alvaro Morata or like someone
What
that's
do you mean?
not.
Now. It's been since 2012.
Okay, right now I'm saying. okay?
2012.
So I'm saying historically we've always had good strikers, okay? And we've always had formations that benefit strikers. And now we have two strikers,
Yeah.
and we haven't developed one even, I'd say world class, not even one elite striker.
Okay.
So
Not
So
even
why-
one
so why
good
not
that goes to
striker.
show.
So why
that
not
goes to
allow
show-
for why not allow
Let me
for
just finish
environment?
my thought.
Go for it.
That just proves that regardless if you have fucking wingers, you're playing a 3-5-2, you're playing a 4-1-2-1-2, it doesn't matter. We are just not developing the talent.
And why
That's
are
what
we?
I'm saying.
And why isn't that talent developing?
Because of bad
That's-
coaching.
Bad coaching.
We need to go
now
grab
who
the
makes
best
formation
coaches
for
in the
coaches?
world.
So who makes the formations? The coaches. Who makes the tactical?
Well,
the tactical play?
It's
The
not
coaches.
about the formation. It's about the coaching. You can coach a player to be world class in a 3-back formation. That's so stupid.
Okay.
It's so stupid.
you think you'll get the best out of your players?
Quenda, who's a fucking winger, balled out under Amorim in a 3-back formation, even though he was playing 4-3-3
You're
his
bringing
entire
up
fucking
individual.
life.
You're bringing up
No, but it's
It's
individuals.
Portuguese football knows how to develop talent. Italian football doesn't know how to develop talent. We don't have a fucking Quenda. we don't
and-
have one.
But we aren't. Okay. Anyways, we're going back and forth.
Yeah, whatever.
My point.
Inter's finished.
Summarize for the people that want to just skip over this is that Italy do not allow for the environment for those players to develop into elite level players. We do not allow.
I
the environment.
agree. So stop bringing up the formation because it has nothing to do with the
Yeah.
formation.
So
Yeah.
the Haaland that has to shoehorn his way into playing like a false nine, a hold up striker because that's what the Italian
Okay,
formation
we've
says.
lost
in a
our
3-5-2, Haaland would
Yeah,
not
he
be
doesn't.
that.
He can
But
play
it's
exactly
okay.
the same way he wants.
Yeah,
but
no problem. Fucking stupid.
Actually,
You
I
guys are
disagree. In
blind.
Spain, he'd be shoehorned. The Haaland would
Yeah.
not develop in Spain.
Yeah.
you
You're
see?
blind.
So
You're blind.
I think they should go to a 3-back or a 5-back
Yeah.
in Spain.
Now they're
so
mocking
they can
us.
develop
Now they're
strikers.
mocking
Ignore
us
them.
because they
Ignore
know
them.
that they're stupid.
Anyway, so next up, Inter being shit.
So now you got me riled up for this shit, but I'm gonna stay calm because I actually can't. First, I can't believe that you guys take that stance on Italy. I cannot believe it.
Yeah.
Cannot believe
Very
it.
backward stance.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's develop.
Me
Lamine
saying
Yamal.
that we need better coaches and develop
Yeah.
players for the Italian way of
You
football.
do know you're almost saying the same thing that we were saying.
I'm. You know what's crazy is
It's
that
the
I'm
coaching
the one
level.
that's actually trying to stay to the roots of Italy the most out of all three of us. I'm the one.
fuck does that
I'm
mean?
the one that's saying we can play Italian football, just modernize.
I agree.
it.
Keep the identity.
And how do you modernize it?
I'm not the fucking. If I had the answers, I would be the fucking coach on the
Okay,
field.
so
modernizing it.
problems, no solutions.
You don't
Sounds
have
like
the
it.
answers.
Sounds
Me too,
about
I wanna
right.
modernize it.
I'm not. I can just tell you that the people doing it right now are not the right
Bro,
people
we're
to
four
do
bozos
it.
sitting on a couch, bro.
Yeah.
We don't know what's
We have
happening.
eyes. We have eyes, and we have.
Millie,
Millie's
Millie.
gonna lead the revolution of the Italian national team
Millie,
and
we
change
watch
the
the games.
formation.
All
God
we can-
forbid I have an opinion.
No, but all
God
we do is
forbid.
watch the games. We just watch the Italian national team at the top level.
I just
Brother, we
know
read
that
the
the
news.
players I'm watching right now are not good enough. That's all I know.
Not good enough. Maybe okay, sure. In a 3-5-2, sure.
It's okay.
So if we went to 4-3-3, Zaccagni would be fucking carrying us.
I
to
wouldn't
the
know
World
because
Cup
we
right
haven't
now,
seen
right?
them play 4-2-3-1.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know. But God
It's-
forbid I ask for another Chiesa to show up in the Italian
The
national
problem
team.
is so far away from that, bro. Like, look at the defenders. Aside from Bastoni, is the he covers all.
Yes.
Bro, look at Brazil. They have fucking 10 defenders better than ours. 10 defenders better than our second center back.
Excuse me?
Bro, we don't have good center
It's
back.
true.
Brazil?
Bro, Brazil.
Who do they
Bro,
have?
Buongiorno maybe is good. That's a good center back.
I mean,
but like
Brazil is
But he's not
in
better
our,
than
in our same
Marquinhos,
state.
not-
Eder Militao, like bro,
We're
there's
counting Eder
fucking
Militao hasn't
serious.
played for over a year.
Okay, so then theoretically,
Okay.
like
so
he has
Scalvini doesn't count anymore because he
Yeah.
was injured.
yeah.
Like, bro, we just don't develop talent. We really
develop
don't develop talent.
Yeah.
We have
All
good
right.
fucking managers and good goalies. That's
All
it.
right, Inter.
What about it?
You left for 2 weeks. A lot has
we
happened.
did a podcast right
A
after
lot-
the
a
final.
lot-
What do you want?
a
from
lot
me?
has happened since that podcast, man.
Yeah, a lot has happened. What do you want me to tell you?
So in the last 2 weeks, I would say Inter's club has actually crumbled. Like
Yeah.
I would say sound the alarm bells because this is like
Yeah.
one of the biggest disintegrations of a team we've seen in the modern era.
After a trophyless season as
Yes.
well.
Yeah.
And Mili has come out that Inzaghi actually did agree a contract with Al
did.
Hilal before the CL final.
He did.
Now, a lot of Inter fans are saying this brother's like top snake now. He's replaced Lukaku as top snake. Is that facts or no?
He's up there, but I wouldn't say no. I would say Lukaku's the bigger snake.
Is Conte or Inzaghi bigger snake?
Similar situation.
It's tough. Conte snaked because like he couldn't handle the environment that Inter was in. He couldn't handle the idea that Inter had to sell a big player every summer in order to keep the books afloat, in order to not go into
Those
debt.
books might also be cooked. We were.
That was already debunked, but
I didn't see the
it was debunked. It was
I didn't
debunked.
see the debunking
I'll
either.
send it to you guys after, but it is debunked. But anyways, so we're gonna talk
go.
real stuff. Or?
It's
No, because I came on a podcast.
Yeah, no, I heard it. I heard it. And you guys brought up Inter 300 million, cook the books.
No,
Whatever. I heard it. Don't worry, I heard it.
no. When Juventus got first alleged, like the allegations that we cooked the books, I came on the podcast and said, "Nah, bro, it's already been debunked." And then a few months later, we got deducted 15 points. So
No,
I see you're not out of the water.
Okay, no problem. So I think the courts already deemed that it was legal, but it was fine. Anyway.
Yeah, you do not get a court. The court did not.
did
come
not
to-
see that
did not
court.
happen that quickly.
Okay, so I do think Conte's still the bigger snake. I think Inzaghi, after 3-4 years of practically no investment, and then you bring the team to 2 CL finals. If I was Inzaghi, I would say I warrant a transfer market. I would
Sure.
warrant some actual
But do it
expenditure.
properly.
Yeah, properly. But I mean, after signing 2 players, let's say Sucic and Enrique, and then they go into the meeting and he says, yeah, I want to sign this, this, and this. And if they said, no, we can't do that, I don't necessarily blame him for leaving. What I do think that doesn't help is that, yes, you agreed to it before the CL final, and then you end up losing 5-0. That's
Yeah,
really
a
where it
problem.
made it bad.
But did you really think that this summer, like truly, did you think that you were gonna go into the market?
No.
And actually back him to the point where you'd be trying to get Tonali's?
I
just
think
Enrique's and
Tonali's-
Sucic's.
yeah, but I think the stance
I think
of the
Enrique
club.
and Sucic are
No,
both
listen, good players. No, like they're young,
Yeah.
they're better, whatever. But I don't think you would have went into the market and backed him like he wanted to be backed.
Yeah, but backed, I don't know necessarily what he wanted as backed. If he wanted like $200 million to spend or whatever, I think that's egregious.
But why? You just went to a
Yeah,
CL final.
made 2 CL finals,
You're a
but
You're
competing
playing in the
team.
Club World
Yes,
Cup.
I
Like,
agree. But
you-
at the
you
end of
have
the day,
200 million.
at the end of the day, Inter's not owned by itself. Inter's owned by an investment firm that is looking to work in the best interest of their investors, in their shareholders. So yes, if they're saying, yeah, we're not going to support you as much in the transfer market, but like we have our own things going on. Like,
but now look at the investors. Those investors that were so frugal with their money, now they're holding their balls because they're
not holding their balls.
Yeah, well, they just lost the best manager they've had at the last, I don't know, 10 years.
Sure. But at the end of the day, things happened the way they happened. And I would give criticism to the management, Marotta and co, because if you didn't like prep for this type of scenario or didn't have anyone really lined up, like Kivu, at the end of the day, it was, I think, second or third choice.
Yeah.
So, like, coming off of a CL final, you were a CL finalist, regardless of the score. Still a CL finalist, an elite team in Europe, and you're telling me you can't get Fabregas from Como? Like, it's a very bad look on the club. And I do think that the stature of Inter after this CL final has taken a major, major hit. I don't think teams in Europe are looking at us as scary, like, as seriously as they did the last year or so.
Yeah.
So...
But not only Kivu, there's also, what do you think about key players potentially leaving? Like, you were probably thinking, oh, now we're in the clear. You're not done selling your top players. Like Çalhanoğlu to Galatasaray.
Yeah, the Çalhanoğlu would be a big loss, in my opinion.
But how does that happen?
How? I mean, he's 31. We got him on a free. If you're going to look to sell him for 40 million...
You just made a CL final. Like, what?
Yeah, I agree. But he didn't play well in that CL final.
Sure, okay, sure. You made a CL final, though. He's a crucial player.
Yes,
like that, because you're gonna have 40 million to spend. You're gonna have 40 million to spend, okay?
Yeah, and then who do you sign?
Yeah, who do you sign for 40 million or less?
I agree. You're just creating more problems than you are.
Let's not act let's not act like Çalhanoğlu in these situations has not always abandoned ship. Every club he's done this.
Who gives a fuck?
Leverkusen, Milan, and now Inter.
But I don't necessarily see this as abandoned ship.
But who?
He did.
Yeah, who?
I don't see this as abandoned ship.
It is.
He's been here 3-4 years. Has been an integral part to the club. If the club does deem that he's like, let's say they want to cash out on him, that's a club decision. I wouldn't say that's a Çalha decision.
And bro, Galatasaray is handing out crazy wages right now.
I wouldn't be upset if he left.
That's crazy to say.
I wouldn't be upset if
Was
he left.
Brozovic abandoned ship?
Brozovic should have stayed.
Yeah, but he was also
Why?
around the same age, 31.
He was great at Inter.
The only difference is that this is the first
what?
good team that Çalhanoğlu was leaving.
Yeah,
Killed rage bait. What a stupid Juventus
It's
fan.
not. It's
What
not.
the fuck am I hearing
It's
around
not-
here?
You got rage baited by something I wasn't even intending on being rage baited.
Because that's how your mind works.
How was AC Milan when he left? I mean, you won a Scudetto
That
the
was a
season
good-
after.
Yeah, I won the Scudetto the
That
year
was
after.
totally unexpected too. That was a good
Yeah,
one, bro.
because you knew.
Well, I didn't even expect that. I didn't think that was rage bait.
Yeah, I didn't
AC
expect
Milan
shit.
and right before he left.
Yeah, yeah.
How was the state of AC Milan?
Yeah, but
Leverkusen.
going from Inter to Galatasaray, that's a good deal. Because
No, but I'm
it's an
saying
upgrade, right?
this is strange because he's leaving a very competent.
Oh, so
competing
he's not
team.
jumping ship, or is he? I don't understand your point.
but- the
But
first time
jumping
he's leading a
ship
good
for
team.
me is like is
He is.
He didn't
just
jump
saw-
ship at Milan.
Yes, he did.
No, he just went to a better project.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's jumping ship.
And then he lost the Scudetto the year
Yeah, he
after.
still
Yeah, but then
won.
he ended up winning 2 of them.
Yeah,
He made
2
the
years
CL
after.
final though.
Huh?
He made the CL
2
final.
CL finals and 2 Scudetti. So
Doesn't matter if
No,
you don't
one
win it.
Scudetti. One
One
Scudetto.
Scudetti, 2
Oh, sure, 'cause
Copas,
he missed it. Wait, he
2 or
missed.
3 Copas.
He missed the first
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Still, he made a good choice in the end.
Okay, but like Çalha leaves,
Yeah.
this doesn't stop the cycle of selling.
From what I
players.
saw from like the sources were good. I'm not saying it because I just saw one tweet.
Romeo Agracia, whatever.
No. It was like a media set or like Sky Sports or whatever. They said that Çalha's not for sale. They said Çalha's not for sale. But obviously
Lukaku wasn't for sale either.
But clearly, I think he's pushing.
Sure, if
Hakimi wasn't for sale either.
No, those guys were for sale.
no, that's a whole different
Lukaku
thing.
was not for sale.
Yeah, Hakimi was for sale.
No, I don't think. I think. Anyways, it doesn't even matter.
It's a different state, bro, because you guys were like financially so cooked when you had to sell Hakimi and that it was almost like I have to sell them.
Well, no, it was Hakimi was the sell. I think.
You explained it last time.
Yeah, like I think.
Hakimi was the sell, Lukaku was the snake.
Yeah, Hakimi were like, okay, if we sell Hakimi but we keep Lukaku, but then we sold Hakimi and then Lukaku said he wanted to leave.
Yeah.
Then we lost both. We should have kept one. But yeah, I don't know. I don't necessarily have a great positive outlook on the season right now. Like I'm gonna just be very, very
You
honest.
still have the best team in Italy. Let's just iron that out.
Okay, sure.
Let's
you
clear
disagree?
that out right now.
No, not that I okay. From a player perspective, yes, but until I see Kivu manage this club, I think Napoli are in a better position right now, and I don't think that's a stretch.
With the investments, you see the names that Napoli's linked to?
Bro, KDB.
Like that's a big
Already
signing.
just
It's a good
KDB.
investment.
The best signing in Serie A we'll have in
and the
all
best,
summer.
And the best thing of all for Napoli is that they kept Conte.
Yeah.
After all that pressure of him leaving and whatever, they end up keeping him. Like they're a very stable ship right now.
I'm not worried about Napoli.
Juve fan. You should be worried about fucking Genoa.
I'm not worried about a long-term Napoli project because it's Conte and it's De Laurentiis. This is a recipe for maybe one more good season and then just dog shit.
Sure, but I mean, if we're looking at it face value right now, they're the most stable club in Italy.
For next season, they're scary.
Yes.
But project-wise,
Okay, but projects and next season are two different things, in my opinion.
Conte with multiple
Bro, anything can
competitions.
happen, bro. In football, you can't look more than 1 year. Because after that, last year, if we said Inter would lose Inzaghi, fucking demolished their entire fucking club, Çalhanoğlu to Galatasaray, you just
Demolish
said
the club.
crazy.
I don't know what demolish should.
Well, your 300 mil now is fucking, you might go to jail for it, Pepe Marotta.
But
Chinese investors.
also the oak tree, I don't think is necessarily. I don't know. They're kind of flip flopping. They say they want to invest in the club, but then they end up paying $400 million of debt off. Basically, just clean the books and getting it ready for a sale. That's what they did. Yeah. So I don't know what they're trying to play both sides.
American owners.
I don't like American owners, man.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of them right now.
Depends what American owners.
You
the
get.
issue
Which ones are
is
successful? I actually don't know.
Liverpool.
Liverpool.
Okay.
Fenway Sports Group.
Atalanta, you could say successful.
Yes.
Como. Actually, no. Sorry. Bologna, if you want to count.
Como was what,
Italian.
Indonesian?
Indonesian.
But it's also unfair to think that like you should get an owner that will just throw you money like a.
I agree. I don't think that's realistic at this point in time, but it depends who Inter gets sold to. So,
I don't know if I'd rather Italian owners. Depends.
No, because they're broke.
Who's this?
No, but
Italian owners.
Yeah, I don't know.
It depends. Like Juventus have a hybrid, and it's like some foreign investment, some not foreign investment.
De Laurentiis is the one off, like is the outlier for some reason. The club is still because it was just very good management for a very long time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. My outlook isn't too great on Inter right now, which is a shame.
We'll see in the Club World Cup.
See Club World
So
Cup,
Chivu grade him.
bro. This is a C.
That's even high.
Even high. Like I don't want to say F because I feel like I'm really beating on the guy. Like I want to sub. Obviously, whoever's
And
managing,
also, he's coming in with like players know he wasn't even the first like top
choice.
This is a Pirlo appointment.
No, not even.
No, it might be better than Pirlo actually.
I know Parma. He did okay, but brother, 13 games.
No, but at least he's managed all of your ranks.
Yeah, like
Pirlo
like,
had our youth team for like fucking months.
Yeah, like I'm looking forward to maybe seeing more youth players play, but at the end of the day, a lot of our core players are a year older now. They have maybe another 3 to 5 year window of playing top level football before like we have to kind of like restart. So yeah, it's tough. I don't know, very very tough. Obviously, Inter cannot go a summer without doing anything stupid.
Italian football in general.
Italian football. C'est la vie.
And we want to get to the final topic of the day.
Pogba will sign with Monaco for 2 years probably, according to Fabrizio.
Do you guys think that Pogba still has what it takes to compete in European competitions?
Pogba will dominate. He's going to be team of the season in Ligue 1. Easy. Like I'm saying easy. Monaco are cooking. I can't cap. I'm not going to say, obviously PSG are so fucking good. You can't even say like they're going to win the title with a straight face. But like I'm saying Monaco second place next year easy. I know the Marseille fans in the Discord and Patreon are going to probably lynch me for this. But I think Monaco are better than Marseille, honestly.
No.
Personally.
Why do you say that?
Bro, Pogba. I'm
That's all
telling
I know.
you,
But what else?
I knew that was gonna happen.
Pogba, and they're signing Ansu Fati also, which, I mean, bro, those two players
Both
in the
injured
right
prone.
environment, I think will cook. I'm way more confident in Pogba cooking than Ansu Fati.
Yeah, but they both have to play at the same time. Like, I don't know. It's going to be one of those scenarios where it's like both players may be injured at different times. They'll never play with each other kind of thing.
It's a risk-free move by Monaco because it's only a 2-year contract.
Yeah, but
And the wages aren't crazy.
What are they?
I don't know. Well, they're definitely not crazy.
They're definitely not low. That's
And I mean, Pogba in France, we know how good he is there.
Yeah.
So
Listen, I think
It'll
Pogba's
work.
an exceptional player, but this is a Neymar situation, bro. The body cannot keep up at that age.
Yeah, I agree.
His body won't be able to keep up, bro.
I don't know.
Pogba had to take steroids. I think the whole steroid debacle was more because his body just couldn't keep up. And bro,
I
Pogba
don't
trains.
agree.
Pogba trains
I
hard.
think these teams all do medicals at this point that are so advanced that they would have known if his body's just disintegrated or not.
I don't think so. Juventus didn't know.
Well, Barcelona would have signed Neymar if his body wasn't fucking disintegrated. They told him, go to Santos if you can stay healthy there, well, then maybe we'll sign you. And then, no. Yeah, body is finished.
Gonzo.
But also, I think Pogba does take his his lifestyle more serious than
I think so.
Neymar.
Yeah, he does.
Neymar's won everything. You
Bro,
know?
every summer it's so funny. Every summer, Dybala and Pogba, the whole summer train
like-
off season in Miami together, and that's like I remember when he came back to Juve, I was like, oh man, like he's back, he's
cooked.
back. But
Both gone.
I've seen it firsthand. Pogba's cooked. Body's finished.
He only had 1 year though at Juve. He only had 1 year where the body was finished. Towards the end of Man U, also a bit.
I think
of
he
injury,
plays like
but
he plays maximum 20 games at Monaco next season.
20 games total all comps. Or
No, 20 games
Liga?
in the league.
It's not that bad. Like if you get
20 games, 1,500 minutes type thing.
It depends. Like if he starts the season, I don't think it's weird. Like I feel like a Pogba like now wouldn't necessarily start the season for Monaco. Maybe like later on.
bro, he's Monaco star player.
I'm gonna watch Monaco.
Yeah,
I will
yeah.
watch Monaco, bro. I love like to watch Pogba, bro. Even the small stuff he does, like the way that he moves the ball, the way that he rotates, like bro, this guy was generational. But
I'm interested to see where they're gonna play him though, because towards the end at Man United he was playing left wing and he was very good. Played attacking midfielder.
he's gonna play deep.
Yeah,
he's gonna play like
CM,
a
in my opinion.
We'll see,
He won't be a
bro.
cam.
He's so tactically flexible. That's the thing that's so good about.
Was.
him.
I know, but he's aging, so obviously he's gonna be running less.
Exactly. That's why you can't play him in midfield.
No, CDM
Yeah.
almost like a
non-contact regista.
yeah.
We'll see.
Really like a
should have
pivot.
signed that Inter, to be honest. Inter,
Would never have done it.
Çalhanoğlu replacement. Why?
Because then you're gonna
An
end up
injury
starting.
thing.
You're gonna end up starting Fratesi for the whole season when he gets injured.
Yeah, we need better backups.
Pogba would be Inter's top 5 player.
But that's the problem. I mean, he'd be a top 5 player, but wouldn't be playing top 5 minutes. Wouldn't be playing top 5 games. Wouldn't like.
But you're getting that for free.
I know. Okay. I think having a star player that doesn't necessarily play adds a lot of unnecessary attention that you don't necessarily need. And Inter in Italy get ripped.
What you could do, look, this is what a smart club would do, okay?
Yeah.
They'd sell Çalhanoğlu to Galatasaray for 40 million.
Yeah.
Get Pogba and sign like a young CDM, like a Javi Guerra to play behind Pogba.
Marato over here.
You see, this is why I need to be head of the FIGC.
Yeah, put Varvar as the revolutionary
Yeah.
for Italian football.
3-5-2.
Anyway, that was a good episode.
Yeah.
Great
a lot of. Can someone put the timestamps in the comments?
I'm glad to be back. Glad to be back.
That was a good. Yeah, that was
Good
really
intro
good.
back.
But thank you everyone for listening or
Sorry
watching.
for the bit of the delay too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was busy.
We brought the equipment to New York. We wanted to record it in New York, but
I mean, the rooms weren't accommodating.
yeah.
Let's
The
just say.
podcasts, let's say.
Yeah.
And the car. It would have been cool if we could have done it in the car, but I don't think audio would have been.
Camera wise, I don't know what we would have done.
You hit a speed bump.
Boom, 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 boom.
The driver
honking.
drifts into the falling asleep. Yeah. Anyway, thank you everyone for watching, listening, and we'll see you guys next week.
Peace out.
Thank you.
Ciao.